How many people join us today? We got a little project going on. I thought I'd go live. Hadn't went live in almost a week. We've been busy. Been on the road. Been shooting some video. Had a lot going on. Been shrimping. And made a trip last week to South Louisiana. And we tore up a shrimp net on our last drag. Got a big ginormous hole. I could crawl literally in this thing. Like, it's huge. So that's today's live. Not real sure how many people are going to be interested in watching this, but it's going to be a little net repair work. That's what we're going to do today. So we'll give a few minutes. I like to kind of explain on the... Hello, Dale. West Virginia. Yes, sir. Dale's in the house. I'd like to give a few minutes on these lives and kind of give a few minutes for some people to jump on and get started. Hopefully we don't cut off on this live like happened on one a few days ago. Got Donald in the house from Memphis. Steven again. I can't remember where you from, Steven, but everybody, let's fix up some shrimp net. That's exactly what's fixing to happen. Got Glenn from Raised Outdoors. Been talking to Glenn here some this week. Y'all jump over to Raised Outdoors and give him a subscribe if y'all hadn't already. Glenn's had some health issues, kind of backed off of his channel a little bit. They got a pretty good channel up there, do a lot of pole catfishing, do some limb lines and stuff too. But good guy, good YouTube channel. He's back rolling again and trying to get his channel back going. So y'all jump over there, and if you do jump over there and give him a sub, y'all let him know that y'all found him from God's country hunting and fishing. I like to do that. That way, I like it if somebody comes over from a... Dylan, I do have a job. I worked the last 4 days, 12-hour shifts, so I'm off today. You do have a good job. I know better. But yeah, we've had a lot going on the last couple weeks. And I'll scroll back down these comments. I know I'm going to miss a few. I don't have Danielle here in my ear telling me what everybody's saying, but she'll be in here shortly. Well, I missed Ivan, Kentwood, Louisiana. Appreciate you dropping in, Ivan. He's from Kentwood. He probably knows something about some shrimp nets. He can probably tell me how to fix this thing up. Kenny. Hello, Kenny. Mark C. Donald Collins, what's up? 12-hour shifts. Oh yeah, I work 12-hour shifts. That's one reason I got time to be off some weekdays now. I like being off during the week. I can actually had to take trucks. It's always something, y'all know. We go to South Louisiana shrimping, tear up a bunch of stuff down there, get back, and the wheel bearings is out in my truck, so I had to take that to the shop. Wasn't something I wanted to tackle on that 2500. Glenn, he works 12 to 6-hour shifts. 6-hour shift sounds great. That's what I'm gonna work on this net right here, Glenn. A 6-hour shift. It's gonna probably take about 6 hours to patch that hole that an elephant could crawl through. Y'all check that out. So I guess y'all know what's gonna be coming up Sunday morning in Sunday's video. We dropped a gar cleaning video that went along with one of our limb line videos from a week or two ago. We dropped a gar cleaning video Wednesday afternoon. If y'all hadn't checked that out, check that one out. But Sunday's video, this Sunday morning, is going to be shrimping in South Louisiana in the old G3. Y'all can see right here. I'll show y'all. We got a few people on here now. We got us some nice pull points made for our boat. I got this net over it, but I can actually unbolt these, and I'm gonna have another setup made for this plate that we welded on where I can bolt on a catfish rod holder. What do you think, Glenn? Got any advice on that? I know you do. But we're gonna fix this where I can take my pull points off for my shrimp trawl. Y'all can see I got my shackles and stuff up there. And y'all can guess why I ain't took it off the boat yet either, because we're going back. So hopefully, in a few days, we're going to be back down South Louisiana, shoot some more video shrimping with a couple more YouTube channels, and we'll leave that to be announced. I think maybe I might. We'll see. We'll see if he wants to let anybody know. I don't want to do that and then it not end up happening, or weather hit us too hard or something like that. We're gonna be fighting some real bad weather next week. It's like a 70-80% chance of rain right now on the forecast next week for every day of the week, and we're gonna be. That's good for shrimping. It makes shrimping really good. It's not good for survival rates for people in 18-foot boats. So we want to stay safe. But if we get some clear weather, enough time to run out and shoot some videos, I think y'all gonna end up seeing us shrimping on another good channel, not our channel. Ken's in the house. Says, have you had it in the water since the gas tank ordeal? I have not had the boat in the water yet, Ken. However, we've had a lot of feedback. What happened to my phone here all of a sudden? Why am I? Okay, I don't know what just happened. Well, I'm scared to touch anything now. My phone just went like half screen for some reason. I can't see as good. Why did it do that? Nope, don't want that. Oh, I'm telling you, I don't know. This is we're always fighting something with these technology. I'm telling y'all. Yeah, if you're just now joining us, gonna be talking, upcoming videos, whatever other questions y'all got, repairing shrimp net. Today, I got a big, ginormous hole in this shrimp net. I'm gonna start out, try to get y'all a little closer. I'm gonna try to get this to where, out the corner of my eye, I can still see. Maybe y'all can still see some of the shrimp net repair, and y'all can still see me, and I can see y'all. But on this shrimp net, this is 3/4 inch mesh. It's a 1.5 inch stretched. That's good in South Louisiana for white shrimp season. Also, you gotta have bigger mesh like this for white shrimp season. This is a minimal size, but y'all can see it's pretty jaggedy. A crab trap. We caught a crab trap. This will be all out coming out in Sunday's video. Shrimping in South Louisiana marsh in a John boat. But we did pretty good. We caught shrimp. We was in the shrimp, but we kept hitting these crab traps that was non-floated. We always dodge the ones with floats, but we hit quite a few that had just floats had been cut off of them, or old crab traps. We hit quite a few. I think we caught 4 or 5 crab traps, and we busted this net. 3 big holes in it, 1 really big. I mean, I'm telling y'all right now, look at this. This would be bad in a hoop net, but it ain't 3/4 inch mesh in a hoop net. This mesh takes a whole lot longer to sew up than a hoop net. But y'all look at that hole. I mean, that is brutal. We literally pulled the hole, and it wasn't even crushed. We literally pulled the whole crab trap. Instead of taking it back out the front of the net, we pulled it out of this hole. So that's the bad part of this. But I'm gonna go through, and I got all these little strands. You can see like this one sticking up right here. First thing I'm gonna do is clean this net up, cut all that stuff off. Get it to where I can sew it up and repair it. 'Cause I need to sew this up. We're planning on going back down Tuesday and trying to get on some more shrimp. And I need to sew this up and dip it and let all that sit up a little bit. It really needs to sit in sunlight and dry, and we're getting some sun, but we're getting a lot of rain right now. Y'all know that. Everybody's getting rain. And it really needs to dry before we go to South Louisiana. And I've got 2 patch jobs up further in the net that I did that I'm gonna have to double check those and make sure they're good. So anyways, what I like to do is cut all my bad mesh out first. Get rid of all that. So it's a nice clean start. I think I'm just gonna chunk all that scraps right down there in that little bucket, so I ain't got it strode all over the yard and all over the carport. Ms. Danielle, she get mad at me about that sometimes. But yeah, first thing on any net repair, unless you're in the boat and fishing, you know, and this is going to kind of relate to some of our earlier videos on making nets. I've dropped some videos on repairing nets and things like that. So this live is actually going to relate to that. What happened to y'all? Ain't getting no comments. Did I hit something, or I did hit something? Sorry. My word. Come on, Bradley. Boy, I missed all time comments, y'all. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out, I can't figure out why my phone went down about half size, and I don't know what happened. I'm just going to leave it like it is for now. Danielle will fix it when she gets here. Pulley locked up on you the other. Mark C. melted the tension pulley, a mess. Mark C., what are you talking about? What pulley? And where are you from, Mark? Are you talking about shrimping, or what are you talking about? I didn't know I had any other shrimpers in here. So let's see. Yeah, Glenn, that's what I'm talking about, just to hold our fishing poles. Thinking about putting one of those on. I've got these big plates mounted on the sides of the boat now, and it's just 4 bolts that holds these, each one of these brackets, my pull points for my shrimp for trawling and stuff on the side of the boat, so I can remove that, have another one made to just bolt it right on there. No, Ken, I hadn't had it in the water yet. I'm gonna have to run it this weekend for sure, just to test everything. Only time I've cranked it was on the live when I cranked it. Y'all seen that? Glenn says, watched Adam's channel, could sense a little frustration in my face. Yeah, there was a lot of frustration. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Look, I grew up on shrimp boats, so this is playing here. But in playing, you know, we caught 140 pounds of shrimp in 2 nights. So yeah, we're playing, but we're also filling our freezers. It's just what I do. I had not shrimped in like 30 years before last year. Wanted to get back into it. I always loved shrimping. Used to work for my dad on shrimp boats, and me and him just couldn't work together. We did a lot of things together, we couldn't work together. So I quit when I was 17. That's my little backdrop history on shrimping, but I had a lot of experience. I mean, from the time I was 13 to 17, for 5 years, I spent my whole summers on a shrimp boat. So I got a lot of shrimping experience. Repairing nets just part of it. You got to know how to repair nets. Catching crab traps, that's part of it. It's just gonna happen. Catching all kind of stuff you don't want to catch. So hopefully with our shrimping stuff, you know, there's some YouTube channels out there that show some trawling and stuff like that. I'm not knocking any of those channels at all. That's great that they're showing it, and part of like what Louisiana or the Gulf Coast in general, or any other area in the world that offers like shrimping and stuff, kind of has to offer. That said, I'm gonna bring it to y'all a little bit different. We're gonna bring the raw end of it, like what it's really like, the good, the bad, and also this kind of stuff, like the repair nets, you know, because at one time I really commercial shrimp for a living. So that's the channels I like watching, or there's some TikToks and stuff, some people that actually own shrimp boats, and they're out there doing it. I love watching that stuff because it's the real deal, you know. B&M or BM, where you get tarred like hoops. Yeah, BM, I forgot, I bought a new shrimp net the other day. It hadn't even been put in the water yet, and I could have bought some plastic dip then. These nets are dipped in plastic dip. What I've seen, we're gonna patch it up and we're gonna dip it in the tar because that's what I've got here. There's no problem with that whatsoever. So that's what I'm gonna do, and it'll hold. It'll last. No longer than this shrimp net's gonna last. Still here in Bama, holding it down. Appreciate you, Laney boy. Got a lot of family in Alabama. Kent. It's a nice size hole. Used to help family repairing their nets, but now my help is too hard. Got you. Yeah. Got you, Kent. Randall says that's a big hole. Yes, it is a big hole, especially for. And then adrenaline turkey calls. You crazy joker. What's up, Captain Caveman? I've been called Captain and I've been called Caveman, but I don't know if I've ever been called Captain Caveman. At least it wasn't Captain Kangaroo. Just joined C. Richards, just joined you guys. Glad to find my people on here. Get after it. C. Richards, I thought you've been on the channel a while. I thought you saying you just joined the live or you just joined the channel. Which one are you talking about, C. Richards? All right, I think I got the comments popping up, y'all. Sorry about that. Got 30 on here. Not sure how many's gonna get on to watch a shrimp net repair, but it's the real deal. This is just, I told y'all before, our lives is gonna be our unscheduled stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. Like, this is just, you know, that we have time to sit down and talk to y'all, basically. When I'm doing something that I got to sit here and do this anyway, so don't mind going live. We're going to kind of use that pattern on the lives for right now to just kind of see how it goes, y'all know. Be there in 20 if you want me to show you how it's done. Yeah, come on, Dylan. Come on. I need to call your daddy tonight, too, see what he's up to. Is he in town? Y'all look, you always got these little secondary holes, too. There's another one right there below it, you know. You always got to watch for those. And I'll have to double check all in this net and see if, like, there's probably going to be some more small holes that we didn't even see down there that we'll have to fix. One thing about it, Dylan, you can, why is my, I don't know what I'm doing. I obviously need a, is the sound good and the, we're not glitching or nothing like that? Is all that good, y'all? Y'all let me know. What's Keith on here saying? Tighten up, don't have any shrimp in the freezer. I'm coming, buddy, I'm coming. Lester Langley. Yep, I'm assuming Lester's saying, yep, everything's good. Dylan said he taught you most everything you know. You do know that's not my Dylan, right? You got Dylan, Dillon. Envision Gaming is my Dylan. Yes, sounds and everything's good. Thank you, son. Dylan Fine is the other Dylan is Dylan Fine. That is him and Dylan grew up together, played ball together. Why is this stupid thing doing this? Dylan, that is Travis. Have you met Travis? What am I missing? Dylan, have you met Travis? Or do you know Travis? Thank you, Dale. Oh, that's right. Y'all told me that. Yes. Yes, Dylan Fine. That is Adrenaline Turkey Call is Travis. Good peoples. We don't got nothing but good peoples on here. We don't keep them riffraff on here. Not very long. They can stay on as long as I get the foul language and stuff. Then yes, yes, he is a Forester. Yep, yep. Known Dylan since he was almost a baby, since he was a kid, young, young. Danny says, "How are you putting up 140 pounds of shrimp, whole, headless, cooked raw?" I mean, Danny, when we catch, normally we'll boil some like as soon as we get home. Like that night, I got home, me and Danielle boiled some and cooked some, them and some crab. We put them up headless. We will, and I think we showed that in a live. Awesome tutorial, thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna get a little more in depth on like how I'm sewing the mesh and everything. Right now, I'm just trimming. Y'all see all these frayed, fragmented. Like, look at that. I gotta get rid of all that junk before I got something to sew to. So right now, I'm just going. If y'all just joined, this is a shrimp net we're repairing. The video will come out Sunday morning when we tore this up and everything. But before we tore it up, I did have a backup shrimp net. But when we tore this up, we was only going to make one more drag and then come to the house anyways. So we just loaded up, Shrimping trip was just about over anyways. That said, I still need this one repaired and dipped and back going for next week. We're actually going to look at we're actually going to attempt. I don't say what we will do or what we'll drop or won't drop. I don't think he's going to care for me saying this. But we're going to attempt to go shoot some video with Keith from That Louisiana Life. So hopefully y'all can look forward to us having a video with him down there shrimping. If y'all aren't subscribed to their channel, go subscribe to their channel. Great channel, great people. And Adam from That Louisiana Life's going back down with me again. And if y'all hadn't seen this, there's gonna be 2 videos out on this one when the net tore. One of them is already out on Adam's channel, so y'all can go over there now. He dropped it Sunday. I'm a week or 2 behind on my footages, so my version of the video will come out this week. That's what'll be on our channel. But y'all can go ahead and go watch Adams, if you hadn't watched that video, over at Redline Outdoors. Y'all can check that out. And if you ever got any question about these channels that we're doing collabs and stuff with, if you look at our bio, we have in our bio we got a link tree that me and Danielle Dylan helped us set up. My son Dylan helped us set up. And we've got all those links to those other channels and stuff in that link tree. So all you got to do, we'll make it easy. We'll drop that in the description of our videos and a lot of times in the comment section. That way you can find our merch store. And by the way, the ones of y'all that's bought hats and stuff, appreciate that. We've actually had a pretty good response on hats and shirts and stuff. Better than what we thought would happen. So appreciate that. Mr. Joe at Bayou Threads is keeping all that rolling for us. But appreciate everybody that's went and looked at that. But all of those links are on our are in our bio. Sorry, I get tongue tangled sometimes. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, still just trimming out right now, trying to get this shrimp net cut back so I can do the repair work on it. Alright, so I'm going to catch up on the comments. I got you on awesome tutorial, thanks. Cold Creek Catfishing, Billy. New here, subscribe, like and shared. Interesting channel. Billy, I think you'll enjoy the channel. YouTube catfishing community. Yeah, Billy, tell me, Cold Creek Catfishing, what the catfishing community is that? Is that the I know there's a community that's like a lot of tournament fishermen, cat fishermen, a lot of rod and reel fishing stuff. We're a little different, but let me know in the comments what y'all got going on over there at the catfishing community. Is cat spawning down your way? Dale asked. Dale, all of our catfish are pretty much about spawned out at this point. Normally spawned out by mid-June, latest. Uh, some channel cats will still be trying to spawn, but most of them done spawned out already. John the fourth says wife and him has been catching up on your videos since I found the channel. Great content. John, how'd y'all find us? And tell me how y'all find us. I like it when people tell us how they find us. That way we know if you're coming from another channel, or did you find us through a long video or a short, or how'd y'all find our channel? Y'all let us know if you hadn't let us know already. Glad that Kent says that. Glad that wasn't my new net. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't my new net too. Well, I mean, it really was. I bought this one last year, so it's not like it's an old net. This wasn't rotten material, nothing like that. It just ripped the far out of it. We've had some small holes to patch. We actually patched. I don't think it's going to show in mine or Adam's videos, either one, but we actually, you know, I carry this Ziploc bag with a ball of twine and my needle. I carry all that with me in the boat, and it's a good thing I do, because we caught 2 or 3 crab traps, had to patch a net right there at night. We lost probably an hour the first night we shrimped. We shrimped all night the first night, and we lost an hour shrimping, just repairing shrimp nets, or repairing this net. Ken says, hey man, I don't want to take anything away from this video, but when you set a trot line, are all your down lines the same depth, or do you set so? Ken, I thought I answered that in the comments, and Ken, you're not taking anything away from any video, man. Look, when y'all come in on these lives, it doesn't matter if it's got to do with what I'm doing or not. If you got a question, ask that question, because I mean that's why we do the lives. Appreciate the comments, appreciate the questions. That's what the lives are for. I'm repairing a shrimp net. I'm gonna show y'all how to repair this, but we're here to talk. You know, that's what a live's about. On the trot lines, I think you're asking on the individual drops, Ken. I just normally do my drops like 12 to 24 inches, depending on what I'm fishing for and whether or not they got a swivel. If I'm fishing directly for flatheads, I'm not worried about a swivel. Flatheads don't twist up like blues and channel cats do. You put a swivel on because of blues and channel cats, they'll twist the fire up and twist the hook out of their mouth. That's why you put a swivel on. If not, you can just tie like loops for your drops. What we normally do is mainly for boats. I would fish them high in the water column if it wasn't for boats. But because a boat's going to hit your trot line and tear it up, we normally run our trot line, drop one weight right in the center, drop it at the bottom, and then tie it off on the other end. Like, and reason being, because you're fishing, like, say the top of the screen here is your water column. You know, we would fish down like this and then back up like this, and then you're fishing. It don't matter what depth of fish are running. You got hooks in all your depths. We're fishing the whole water column by doing that. And that's typically, and is every hook in the right place? No, but we don't know the right place. We don't know that day if, you know, and we know this from live scope now, fishing crappie, and we see catfish on live scope. One day they'll be feeding up here, the next day they'll be feeding down here, and the next day they won't be feeding much, but they'll all be down here just hanging out. Well, if that trot line's run down here and back up, some of them catfish that's just hanging out down here and ain't feeding much, they're going to see a free bait and they're going to eat it. So it's like that trot line fishing. Sometimes you'll catch them up here, sometimes you catch them up down there. Now, I hadn't done a lot of trot line fishing videos. We're going to do more. May do one later this summer. Here's the thing, though. Before I started YouTube, I started early on as a teenager fishing. That's all I fished. I have fished a lot of trot lines, so I do know a good bit about it. We just ain't done it on YouTube. You know, we've moved on to other things and we just been hitting that stuff. That said, we know that trot lining is a good subject on YouTube, and we're going to bring some more trot line videos. I kind of want to do well, I'm not going to say everything I want to do because I'm kind of leave it as a surprise. But we're going to do more trot line stuff, I can promise y'all. We did one already this year. Some more's coming. Let's see what I missed in the comments. Yeah, no problem, Ken. So ask your questions away. And Cold Creek said, yes, sir, that is. And Cold Creek, Mr. Billy, I'm going to go ahead and warn you now. We do a little bit of everything. Like, no offense to any of those guys in those world. I've been in the tournament world, and I've been in the commercial fishing world. So what I'm here to do is to preserve fishing, period. That's what our YouTube channel is about. We're not here to blame or, you know, bring people to or from tournament fishing or the commercial industry. What I want to do is show the best of all the worlds, and that we all can thrive and live in the same world and salvage our way of life and be able to salvage our fishing. And you know, we all get. I'm gonna touch on this, and I'm only touching on this because I know the community that he's coming from, and I'm not down in any communities or anything, because that's the communities is what's gonna, in the long run, preserve fishing and hunting rights across the nation. And that's what these YouTube channels are about. Right now, y'all don't see it like I see it, but our viewers are gonna start seeing in the future that we've got some pretty good YouTube channels that are kind of binding together behind the scenes right now. And what we're doing is kind of forming in our own way a YouTube community. And I said this 2 years ago to some channels that I was talking to, that my vision for the future wasn't about how big we can get. And yeah, we can grow and get bigger as a channel ourselves, just me and Danielle, with no other help outside of that, no doubt in my mind. That said, I'd like to bring the community together and grow the fishing and hunting community, because in ways on social media we are powerless especially in the hunting world. Right now we're sitting on probation because of what somebody thinks was a mistake that was a reality about hunting, that wasn't over the edge. We didn't go too far with the content we put on YouTube, but we got penalized, and we're still being penalized because we're on probation because of something we had in one of our videos. And I edit, y'all know, if y'all been around our channel and y'all watched our videos, y'all know I edit my stuff pretty clean compared to what's on some channels out there. Like, I'm trying to do the right thing, and I was trying to do the right thing in that video, but yet we get penalized. And that's because we're not a strong enough community. If we were a stronger community in the hunting world on YouTube, then we would have more of a voice, and we would have a little bit more power to show things a little more like it actually is in reality. What's wrong with this country that we live in now, and the reason it's like it is, the bad things in this country, it looks like we're the greatest country in the world, right? And everybody says that. And I hear that all the time, we're still the greatest country in the world. Well, I'll challenge you to ask some people that's been in other countries across the world. When you go into some of these other countries, you're like, well, you know, I've been in about 10 different countries. Been fortunate to travel overseas with work. And some of those countries I care nothing about revisiting. They're worse than here. That said, some of those countries I went in, I was like, wait a second. This, like, there's no crime. You know, there's no corruption. Like, I'm sure there's corruption at certain levels, but like, you don't have not all countries are bad, and there's some dare to say that they may be better than our country the way it's set up. Now that said, most countries don't have the rights as far as the hunting and fishing world that we have. And what I would like to do with our YouTube channel is preserve that right to hunt and fish. I want to preserve that for my kids, for my grandkids, and that's my goal. That's my ultimate goal. Look, if we make $1 doing this, that's fine, because it's expensive to go and do this stuff. That said, my goal is to preserve this so my grandson can get out here and enjoy this when I'm deceased. Okay, so, and I think everybody watching this live or any of our videos or any live should want to preserve that as well. So I said all that to say this: there's a battle in the fishing world. There always has been. Ever since I've been a teenager, there's been a battle in the fishing world between commercial fishing rights and tournament guys that are catch and release guys. Look, what we're learning with live scope is this: we're learning how to catch crappie and bass and catfish. People have learned with this is the best technology. Live scope, whether you're for it or against it, is the best technology we have in the fishing world to date. But what I've learned in 4 years of fishing live scope is that more than anything anybody ever tells you in the tournament world or the commercial fishing world, is that in most of these places that we fished, especially that I fish in Louisiana and southern Arkansas and Mississippi for that matter, that these resources that we have are substantial populations. Like, we're not talking about you got enough to go fish your tournament and you got enough to feed yourself. We're talking about to the extent that these catfish and crappie and bass and brim are dying of old age. That's what happens to them at the life cycle of a crappie at 4 to 6 years, whatever. They just don't exist anymore. Why do you never catch one that's 5, 6 years old? It's because they don't live that long. They die, or they get ate by a big Mr. Flathead, you know. And that's the real side of fishing that a lot of people don't understand and they don't see, and it's something in some of our future videos I'd like to kind of bring to people's attention. It shouldn't be that the tournament guys or communities are against the commercial fishermen, because that's a way of life. I'm going to tell you this, start off with a commercial fisherman, and I've done both, and I hold a commercial license now. I don't care to go out there and catch that many fish. I'd break my back if I went out there and caught more fish than what y'all see in our videos. I would not hold up. Physically, I would not hold up. If a guy wants to go out there and fish for a living, the best thing you can do is support that guy as much as possible, because I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't very many people like that guy. He's a special guy, and he's probably somebody you can get in a boat with, and even if you only pole fish, you can go with this guy and get in a boat with him and probably learn more from that commercial fisherman about fishing, where fish live, what time of the year they feed, what time of the year they move, what depth of water they're in, than any other guy. I don't care. You can call and talk to your biologist. I hope we got some on here. You can call and talk to your biologist, somebody that's went to college and studied this stuff. You can talk to whoever you want. I don't care, the biggest YouTube channel out there for catfishing. And I promise you, none of them are going to educate you to the extent that commercial fisherman is. Because that guy's got to catch fish for a living. He is the only one on the water that's going to know for sure where those fish are, what time of the year, how many's there, how you can catch them. He's going to understand more about, like, the way fish move, the way they travel, because to start off with, if I've got a hook net out there, fish have to travel for me to catch them, right? They got to go in that net. Either I've got to bait them and bring them in, or I got to have my net set in that travel corridor, in that path. And that's something I'd like to bring to light. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what I'm saying in the comments, and if that's something that y'all think would be good to bring to the channel. Maybe I get with some other say, commercial fishermen, besides myself, that may have their own opinion and do some videos about like fish travel, fish patterns. And look, I know you can take rod and reels. There's guys out there. Glenn's one of them at Raised Outdoors. I've talked to him a little bit the last couple of weeks. Talked to him some in the past too. But no doubt, this guy can catch catfish on a rod and reel, and he understands. I know from my net, I'm not near as good on a rod and reel as he is, but I know from talking to him now that my thoughts on fish patterns and how they travel is in line with what he knows about rod and reel fishing. Same deal, where fish are, when they travel, what time of the day they're there, how their movement and feed patterns are. I have to know that same thing to catch them as a commercial fisherman. So I'm saying all that to say this: if you're out there in the fishing world, one, I'm going to tell you, whatever we lose, we're never getting back. We're never going to get it back. If they pass a regulation on your lake, your state, I see more comments on our channel saying, I wish we could hoop net fish where I live. I wish we could put wire nets out in my state. I get this on a daily basis. Y'all see it in the comments. Some of y'all have commented this. I'm sorry, but I hate to tell y'all, you've lost it in your state, you're probably not getting it back. And I'm a firm believer. I'm almost a libertarian. I'm not quite, but I'm almost a libertarian in the fact that once we lose something, you're not getting it back. So I believe in our rights. I believe in us standing up for our rights. And I think we all need to try to preserve the rights we have. It shouldn't be. I've seen the bass fishermen local. And look, I bass fish. I'm not against them. I got friends that fish tournaments every week over here on Darbone. But I've seen people in the bass industry and in the crappie industry attack things or try to attack things like yo-yos and trot lines and net fishing and things like that over the years, when in reality they're going to lose their own rights one day. I mean, I've been in countries where it's literally there's lakes full of fish and it's illegal to fish. Okay, you can't fish. Well, like, they got bass weighing 10 pounds just sitting there looking at you, and brim, biggest brim I've ever seen. I'm not naming the countries, but I have been there. And there's literally signs all the way around the lake that you can't fish this lake. And there's fish everywhere in this lake. I don't want to see that in our country, and I don't think y'all do either. So I'm saying that to say this, you know, if somebody's out there making a living off of a resource that's renewable, as long as it's renewable, the state will regulate that to an extent. As long as it's renewable, don't go and attack those people. That's something we don't want. And I'm going to say it the other way too. The commercial side don't need to be attacking like the guys in the tournament world. And the, you know, there's almost two sides to the fishing deal. Just go enjoy whatever it is you do. If it's bass fishing, go enjoy that. Don't worry about what every other angler. Look, there is haggling back and forth in the bass world right now. Look, it is brutal in the bass world right now in the tournament scene. Amongst themselves, they're going to get more stuff outlawed in the bass fishing community by haggling back and forth against each other than anybody ever has in the history of bass fishing. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Why do you want your rights taken away? It's almost a trick from within, and it's something we don't want to see. The shrimping industry is the same way. Look, we're importing. There's a huge push to stop imports. We're importing. I don't even want to think how much shrimp is imported in this country every year. Why are we importing them when I can take y'all check this out. I'm not talking about a commercial rig here. I'm talking about a John boat. I'm taking my crappie boat down there and can catch an ice chest full of shrimp. Well, so what problem do I really have with a guy going out there? And I'm going to tell you, shrimping, I've been there. I was that side of it. Very hard living to make, shrimping. Very hard. And they got everything stacked against them, from fuel prices to ice prices to the prices. Every one of these shrimp nets We tore this thing 3 times in one night. Not this bad, but this was the final hole. But 4 times in one trip, 3 times in one night. And these shrimp nets, this is just a little 20-foot trawl. It's not even one that you would commercial fish with. We tore this thing 3 times in one night, and this is a $400 shrimp net. So you can only imagine what the commercial ones, you're probably talking about $1,000 net. And I'm seeing these guys going out there and saying, man, I ripped 3 nets last night. Like, what? Like, how you make a living doing that? You can't. So best thing I can say is if you want some shrimp, just go buy some shrimp from them guys. At least then you got a hard-working American guy down there trying to make a living, working hard. Go buy some shrimp from him and support, homegrown American companies and businesses, because without that, these rights go away. We've seen them shut down, and they can do it. We've seen them shut down shrimping and fishing and crabbing and everything else in part of the Gulf during the oil spill. They shut down half the Gulf during the oil spill. So we can dream up that there's something in the water and say, hey, y'all done, we're shutting it down. We already know they can do it because they've done it. Best thing you can do, y'all, just don't lose no rights. I'm getting off my soapbox. Look, I got 1 million comments. I'm not even going to be able to answer all these comments because I'm up here on my... Y'all get me on these soapboxes. Cold Creek catfishing. All right, I am going to answer this because it's along with what I'm saying. It's the Cold Creek. Mr. Billy says, we just don't like the commercial guys breaking laws and catching from our rivers, then selling these huge cats that take years to grow, to pay ponds to eventually pass on. Cold Creek, I got huge mixed emotions about this. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I get hate comments all the time, and our regular viewers see these comments. And most of these comments, I'm not reading all these. Most of them are 100% in support of what I'm saying. Yes, I agree, Stephen, with what you're saying. Tournament guys a lot of times destroy their future. Same deal happened here on Lake Darbone, because we thought that live scopes killing all that we having. I'll tell y'all this in a minute on Darbone, and yes, I'm going live so all you locals can watch. I don't really care. But I'm gonna go back to the Pay Lake deal. To start off with, we get hate messages and stuff on our channel over our commercial fishing in Louisiana, and I'm gonna come out with this on a long video, how much water and all Louisiana has. I don't know where you're from, Mr. Billy, but here, that's why I'm not gonna speak on like your area and what you're up against. What I do know is y'all need to find a median and work it out between the conservation department or wildlife fisheries department, between the tournament guys and between the net guys, the commercial fishermen, the guys out there doing it for a living. Because in reality, they're just like, you go to work, make your living. Honestly, some of those guys got nothing else to turn to. It's all they've known their whole life. I want you to understand that side of their part. So if a guy comes in and offers them a bunch of money for fish, it doesn't matter if he's going to take them and put them in a barrel and let them rot, or he's going to feed starving people, or if he's going to put them in a pay lake. It really doesn't matter to that commercial fisherman what he does with them fish, as long as he gets his money for it. So he's out there trying to make a living. Now what the pay lake's doing and what's regulated in the state on the pay lakes, totally different ball game. And I'm not going to down that on our channel either. I have personally fished lakes where catfish was raised in Alabama. We was in Mobile, didn't really have any freshwater catfish right there on us, and I have went and just wanted some fresh fish, to eat. And we used to go, and if we didn't catch anything, they had some in the live well, we could buy 10 pounds and take them home, dress them, and eat them for supper. We got fish. That said, they wasn't as good as the fish we catch here in Louisiana, because they wasn't wild caught catfish. They was farm raised. Just like you can buy farm raised catfish and go put them in your pond, no problem. Now that said, for a trophy type lake, it take you 10 years to raise a catfish of trophy caliber, maybe longer. I don't even know if it's possible, to be honest about it. So I understand what those pay lakes are doing. I'm not going to condone that. I'm not going to condone that on our channel. That's a state issue. That's not an issue that I'm going to even get involved in. What I do want people that get on here and bash our channel and other channels for going out in commercial shrimping or going out in commercial fishing hoop nets or anything like that, I want y'all to understand that Louisiana has, that I personally fish I'm talking now where all of our videos have ever been shot, filmed. So if you go back over the history of our channel 5 years, all of our videos, whether it be a limb line, trot line, anything that was shot on the river that's local to us, not talking about our lake fishing, on the river, we have fished, all of our fishing has been in about a 8 to 10 mile span of the Ouachita River. Louisiana, all in Louisiana now. Louisiana has over 66,000 miles. Not 10 or 20 or a couple 100,000 miles. 66,000 miles of rivers and creeks and streams. Not counting the lakes. Not even counting the lakes. We have over 1 million acres of man-made and natural lakes in the state of Louisiana, not counting the 66,000 miles of streams and rivers. So when you put that into perspective, like how many catfish do we have in those rivers, those estuaries, whatever you want to call them, all those creeks and streams and stuff, it's unfathomable. And we see it now with live scope. I can go like where I hoop net fish and show you 20, 30 giant flatheads sitting there on bottom, laying there, that ain't gonna go in my net. I can run those nets for 7 days. Sometimes I don't catch a one. The most I've ever caught in any of my hoop nets, flatheads, was 19. And that's in the last 35 years. The most I have ever, me personally, has ever seen in a hoop net. And I don't fish some bigger hoop nets that some of these guys have fished, so I'm not going to catch as much as them. That said, the most flatheads I have ever caught in one net at one time was 19 flatheads. And I can tell you, we made good of every one of them. Yes, I filleted every one of them, fried them up. I don't remember if I was commercial then or not. If I was commercial, I may have sold some. If I wasn't commercial, I give some to my buddies, probably cooked some at church. We ate them, okay? That said, wasn't none of them over 15, 20 pounds, not a single one of them. So I don't know what a trophy would be, but to me, a 10-pounder's a trophy or a 5-pounder's a trophy because that's the best tasting fish. A 4-pounder's really the trophy in the flathead world. I think we fixed to get some storms. But either way, I'm not, like I said, I have been in the tournament world. I fished crappie masters for like 2 years. I've been in the tournament world. I am not against tournaments. I'm not against those guys. What I'm against is any world, and it seems to happen more in organizations like tournament organizations or 50-pound plus. Is that what you're saying? Cold Creek would be a trophy? What you're calling a trophy is a 50-pound plus? Is that what you're telling me? Let me know on that one. Is that what you're calling a trophy, or what they would classify a trophy? Is a 50-pound plus fish? So I'm not sure in the catfish. I don't fish to that extent. So, okay. So here's what I'm gonna tell you. So if I catch a 50-pound, and this is, I'm not gonna argue at all about this. I'm just telling you my thoughts on it. So I do all this fishing, right? And I catch all these fish. I catch a lot of catfish, a lot. Louisiana. And I'm speaking for Louisiana because I don't know how big the fish run in other places. They run bigger than here, I'll tell you that. We don't have that caliber of fish here. I've done all this fishing over the years. I've caught 2 fish. And y'all can see from the last 5 years, I'm not messing around with this. I fish more than anybody I know probably. And the guys that know me know this. I've caught 2 fish in my 48 years that I am old that weighed over 50 pounds. One of them was 51-pound blue, and one of them was a 52-pound flathead. Now, I've caught numerous over 40. That 40-pound range ain't that hard to hit. We've caught one that was 46 this year. So, here's what I'm going to tell you about that trophy fish that, let's say a guy does catch. And I'm gonna say this. There's a lot of waste on a 50-pound blue if you fillet this blue and try to cut a lot of meat out of him. So, yes, I filleted the 51-pound blue. We was young, needed the fish, didn't know no better. We filleted the fire out of him. We ate him, you know. But I had so much trim out of that fish that by the time I got done, I honestly probably didn't get 8 or 10 pounds of meat out of him. So that's a lot of waste there. And a lot of people will get on my videos and stuff and say, hey, you wasting a lot of fish. No, we don't. We do not waste a lot of fish. The blue belly meats, if they're over 8 or 10 pounds, just ain't that good. Y'all can say they are, they just ain't. They tough. The taste ain't right. They just ain't that good. So if you want to keep one, if a guy manages to catch a 70-pound blue and wants to keep it, I don't got a problem with it. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if he turns that fish loose, I can assure you nobody else is catching that fish. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. They've got tag. I just talked to, I'm not even going to say who. He knows because he's watching. But I just talked to somebody in the tournament world about this. And he said, you know, they got all these tagging systems and stuff into place in the tournament world now. And it does work in the crappie world a little bit, and it works in the bass. You'll recatch some bass that's tagged, some redfish that's tagged. You'll recatch some stuff. Catfish is a different story. So you just admitted like a catfish is 50 pounds to be a trophy, or 50. To most people, a 30-pounder is going to be a trophy. I'm just telling you straight up. Most people don't ever catch a 30-pound catfish. Don't ever happen. So a 50-pounder for sure. If he wants to release it, that's fine. I don't care. That's great. Let it go reproduce. If it's a male to start off with, it's not going to reproduce other than he can fertilize some eggs, and you got other fish that can do the same thing. If it's a female, she might live to be older, and from the stress of the fight and all that, she might not live. Odds are she ain't never biting another bait like she bit. Like, she's probably not gonna get caught. If she did get on a bait and bit and got on a hook, the odds are they gonna have to have 50-pound tests to land this fish. If 99.9% of people do not fish for catfish with 50-pound tests. So they're going to have to be targeting a big fish to catch that one fish again. If they do hook that fish, the odds are that fish tangles in something and don't get landed is very, very high. So let's just say you even tag that fish. So let's just say that fish tangles in something, you break your line off and the fish can't get untangled. Then the fish dies and it's wasted. I'd much rather somebody eat that fish if they're going to fillet it and do good out of it and eat it. Then I seriously don't have a problem with them keeping the fish. So that said, that's why a lot of times in our videos nowadays, we'll turn a lot of blues loose because I don't feel like it's enough swap in meat for actually killing the fish. So I think there's different. It's just like deer hunting. There's different stages in people's life to where they start deer hunting, and you know, some of them right out the gate's a trophy hunter. Well, some of them right out the gate they shooting everything because they just new hunters. But either way, most of the time, whether you start out a trophy hunter or start out the other way, most of the time those people flip at some point in time in their deer hunting career. Most of the time. I know I have. You know, I don't shoot near the deer that I used to shoot. And And reason being, we got more meat now. We elk hunt, do some other things. I got meat in the freezer. I don't need that many deer anymore. We've always meat hunted, but I do like to shoot a big buck. Now I'm not eat up with it like some people, but I like a big deer. Oh, the rain is coming. It is coming. New York, a 10-pounder is a trophy. Ken, I agree. Like, this net ain't getting fixed before the storm comes. We're just gonna sit here in the rain and do it. But either way, that's enough of my soapbox. And I'm not, and believe me, Mr. Billy, I am not like, I'm not against you. I just wanted to clarify. You know, since you come over to our page, I appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you watching the videos. Look, learn from us. Don't hold it against us when we fill up ice chests of fish. The thing is, there's a lot of fish out there. We fish waters with a lot of fish. You're going to see us catch a lot of fish at times. You'll see us load up on channel cats in the wintertime. We're putting those channel cats in our freezer. That's my favorite fish to eat. Or either we're selling some if we're commercial. That said, there's a huge, like, following on that, on the wire net fishing and stuff for the little channel cats. Ain't none of them over 11 inches long. It's got to be 11 inches to keep it. I mean, ain't none of them over about 12. Got to be 11 inches to keep a channel cat in the state of Louisiana. Now, we can keep some undersized fish, commercial or recreational, but the deal with the channel cats, the lake that we fish, I had a really, probably one of the best fishermen in the United States. I was in a conversation with this week, and I didn't know this, but he's not from here, and he fished this lake last year, and he told me, and I'm telling you right now, the tournament guys hate on this guy because he catches a lot of fish. That said, this guy's fishing places that the fish are overpopulated. I mean, here's the thing. If there's X number of fish in a lake, you got 100 fish in this much water, and it's not enough food in there or nutrients to supply those fish, none of them are ever going to get to trophy size. It ain't going to happen. And this is where the biologists fail us, because I'm going to tell you what these biologists are doing. They're going around to these lakes sampling people's catches. Well, these people that they sampling can't catch fish. So they got no idea how many fish is really in this lake. Or they're taking their little electronic box out there and shocking a few fish up to the top. Or they're taking a hoop net and sampling. You can sample the fish all day long, and you can study those fish, and you can tell, okay, yeah, this fish is this age. It took it that many years to get, to this kind of weight. You can sample all that and check the health of your fish. Unless you're one of these commercial fishermen, I don't trust any data that comes out on population whatsoever. There's no way. I'm just telling you straight up, there ain't no way I'm taking anybody's word over that commercial fisherman on catfish population. Now, when it comes to bass and crappie, I've got to go off of the bass fisherman or the crappie fisherman to some extent on populations. That said, there's always somebody that don't understand really populations, because they'll admit that, hey, I went out there yesterday, didn't see no fish, where they at? And then they go out there 2 weeks later and there's fish everywhere. Well, guess what? When they're on bottom, you can't see them with live scope. They bury up in the mud and sit there and you can't see them. So how do you get a true estimate? The only time to get a true estimate on these fish, so to speak, the best time is in the wintertime when they're all in the creek channel. And that's when I'm out doing some of my commercial fishing in the wintertime. And I can tell y'all, Lake Darbone here in North Louisiana is probably the heaviest populated catfish lake in the state, or one of the heaviest populated in the state. But what it's got is small fish. We don't have no nutrients in the soil and water here. It's iron ore, clay, pine hills, the wash off running in the lake. I don't know. It's not a really nutrient lake. The fisherman I talked to, I'm not even going to say how much fish he caught. It is an unfathomable amount of fish that he caught with just a minimal amount of nets. He's that good. That said, he confirmed everything I've ever said. He said that lake And this guy is a pro. You can call a bass pro, a crappie pro, a catfish pro. I'm telling you, that commercial guy is a pro because he's touched more fish than any other guy in the United States in his lifetime. All right, that's the guy I'm listening to, right? He said, y'all got a problem up there. I said, what do you think? I said, look, I'm not telling you nothing. I've got my thoughts already, but I want to know your opinion. He said, that lake is the most populated catfish lake that I've fished, period, ever, in my years of fishing. He said, ain't a fish in there over like 11 and a half inches long. He said, every fish we caught was 11 and a half inches long. So that tells you right there they're not growing, or there's not a lot of nutrients, or I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, but when you got that much catfish in a place, let me tell you what you ain't gonna have. Or I'm gonna get on something else in just a minute. Y'all know them catfish like to eat them brim eggs and bass eggs and crappie eggs. You know what that crappie sits up there? Here's what I learned about crappie and the spawn. Everybody thinks they spawn against the bank. I know now, fishing live scope, that male crappie sitting right on top of that stump, he's guarding eggs. Because that dude is the only crappie in the water that's going to hit my jig 7 or 8 times before I catch it. Y'all out to the bank. Yes, they move up against the bank and do something. I don't know. Crappie spawn in deeper water than a foot, 2 foot of water. Like they stay. I don't know what they're doing up there in that shallow water. I think they spawn out some eggs and stuff maybe. But a lot of crappie spawn in deeper water, and they'll spawn in them stumps in 10, 11, 12 foot of water sometimes. And that crappie sitting on that stump, 9 times out of 10 is a male, and 9 times out of 10, he's sitting there for a reason. He's guarding eggs. He'll hit 3 or 4 times that jig swatting at it, just not taking it. You keep aggravating him, he'll hit it just like a bass on a bed. So maybe the wind won't be too bad for y'all, but that's my take on that. Well, if you're overpopulating catfish, no doubt you're losing a lot of baby fry. So honestly, you see it more and more. You see a lot of lakes. Lakes can regulate themselves through their lake commission, get it passed through legislation. They think they're doing the right thing by restricting things like hoop net fishing. Oh man, you hoop net fishers are killing all our white perch. Y'all catching them and keeping them. No, I don't know anybody that does that anymore. Used to years ago, yes, the old school guys did. I don't know anybody that does that anymore. I can tell you for sure, like I've seen two dead crappie in 2 years in hoop nets. 2. I can't tell you how many flatheads I've dressed that had a crappie in their belly. A flathead that weighs 10 pounds will eat a 2-pound crappie all day long. All day long, and ain't passing him up. If he can catch him, he's going to eat him. So, there's a little bit of... Yeah, with a storm, if we get bad enough weather, we could lose y'all. I hope not, but we got Starlink, so we could lose y'all. Just got the warning from my technical advisor on that. But yeah, I don't know. There's a world of knowledge in some of these fishermen if you just listen to them and hear what they got to say. But, and look, if I wanted to bass fish, I'd have to go talk to some bass fishermen. I'll tell you, I can catch some. I'm no pro, you know. I don't know really that well bass habits and things like that because we don't commercialize them. But if you want to learn about some catfish, you go talk to that commercial guy and he's going to teach you some stuff. That's where I've learned a lot of my catfishing stuff from. Shrimping the same way, you know. Dad didn't buy shrimp boats and us just go down there and start catching a piles of shrimp. We had to figure out who knew what they was talking about first of all, because we went with a guy, bless his heart, he couldn't catch a shrimp if they was jumping in his net. And, you know, he was just making some mistakes that he didn't know. Well, we had to start, Daddy started going with some guys that knew what they was doing, the guys that come in were making a living, making good money shrimping, and that's who he patterned his nets off of, and who he learned to shrimp and shrimping habits. And we hired guys that knew what they were doing, some guys that were really good at shrimping. So if you want to catch fish, figure out who's catching the most fish and go talk to them people. It doesn't matter if they catch them on the rod and reel. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I want to catch some fish on the rod and reel, I'm gonna holler up at Glenn up there at Raised Outdoors. Y'all go over and subscribe to his channel, because guy, I mean, it's obvious from his videos he knows what he's doing catching fish on the rod and reel. I don't. I'm a limb line, bank pole, hoop net, trot line. That's my kind of cup of tea there, y'all know. So that's just a little insight into and one more thing I'm gonna say about, there's these organized groups. I'm not calling no names because I don't want no kickback on it or anything else. I'm not gonna call no names, but there's organizations in the fishing world that, under the name of conservation, they fight for rights, they say. Well, I want you to look at South Louisiana and the people that redfish and speckled trout fish and do all this stuff. I'm gonna call these special interest groups, right? I want y'all to look. I challenge everybody on here today to go and look at your special interest groups. And what I say by special interest, the ones that say we're having a banquet for y'all to come over and look. I'd go speak at some of these special interest groups, but they're probably not gonna like what I have to say. I'm just telling you, because my studying ain't come from, I went and talked to this doctor, this lawyer, or this guy that's been the head of this special interest group for 10 years about what to do. My studying's been from out there in them woods and on that water, living it and doing it. That's where I get my information from, what I see. Do I need to not shoot as many deer? Do I need to take more does off my property? That's how I get my information. And there's times when it can be either or. I tell y'all, is my fish overpopulated? I need to back off of them and not catch as many crappie or bass or catfish. Asian carp, that's a whole together different story. Need to kill all them suckers. Yeah, there should be means opened up to go and kill them. If not, you're going to be like your northern states, and we're supposed to have some major problems over the grass, over those not grass carp, over those big carp. Getting worse by the day in Louisiana. But that said, I'm just telling y'all, before you give your money to a special interest group, I'm not telling you don't join a special interest group or anything else, but usually their main concern is one individual species, right? Like a redfish or an elk or a deer or a duck. Okay, so I know now y'all know who I'm talking about in these special interest groups. I challenge y'all to look into these special interest groups and see who the managers are, who the board members, who the chairmen are, and see where they fish, where they hunt, what businesses they own, what investments they make. And then after you do that, hey, we're not only talking about that, I'm gonna go on and say the wildlife commissioners. These commissioners are appointed, they're not elected. We elect, at least in Louisiana, we elect a governor, and then the wildlife commissioners are appointed. I challenge y'all, if you're in the state of Louisiana, don't take my word for it. Go look up, it's on the Wildlife Fisheries website, okay? They're listed on there, who the commissioners are. Your state representatives, all this stuff, and I've been in contact with some of these people. I've sent them emails. When I send out the little emails, says, hey, send us your information, what's your thoughts, we're going to have a meeting, come tell us your thoughts. I know guys in my world that went to those meetings. I've been to those meetings, all these different organizations, and I've talked in front of some of them. I've sent them emails that I don't ever get a reply back on because I'm a peon. Well, this peon knows more about the fish that's in the water, in those bodies of water, than they do. But their biologists that they go to tells them, no, I've got a 4-year education. I study fish for a living. This is what I do. I'm the biologist. I know more about it than they do. No. No, see, what they should be doing is they should be coming to us. They should be bringing the biologists to us, and we all sit down at the table together and figure out how to make this better for everybody. And they don't do that. They never do that. I challenge Louisiana, the state, if anybody sees any of these videos that we put out, I challenge them to actually sit down at the table with them commercial fishermen and hear what they got to say. Take it into consideration. Because they can learn more from that guy than they can from anybody else in the argument or in the realm of conservation. What I don't like is people taking people's money in the name of conservation. Then they turn around. Who knows what they do with the money? We just got stuff coming out in Louisiana, hundreds of thousands of dollars, basically being, I don't know if you call it embezzled or
some people work for a living.
Some people work for a living. I don't know if you call it embezzled or money laundering, whatever you want to call it. But it's come out. It's on all the news medias. You can look it up. What happened in the state of Louisiana, wildlife and fisheries. I'm not downing anybody in the wildlife and fisheries other than the people that got caught with their hand in a cookie jar. So if it's true and they get convicted, I got no sympathy for them whatsoever. Nor do I think anybody else in those organizations is going to have. I think they're going to cough up whatever information they got on. But if those guys were just taken from the cookie jar for, they were hired to do a job, they were getting paid, they were just double dipping. More than one person involved, people at a high level of government in the state of Louisiana involved in this stuff. And the simple people know it's been going on. I'm sure somebody knew it was going on already, got jealous, or just outed them and turned them in. So, that said, y'all just be careful on that kind of stuff. If you're not careful, the one thing I can tell you, you'll fool around and get things over-regulated. And that's what I don't want to see. I don't see over-regulation. You're starting to see it in our fishing, in our recreational fishing in the state of Louisiana. So, catfish world, what's starting to happen is a lot of these lakes, they regulated hoop nets and stuff out of the lake. Illegal to fish hoop nets. Bad, bad, bad. Killing all the white perch. Well, what they should have done is really looked at this like, what can we do to save the white perch and still allow hoop net fishermen to fish? We'll let them fish everything as long as it's 2.5-inch mesh or bigger, like Mississippi did. They went to 3-inch mesh. Well, you can still catch some pretty big blues, pretty big channel cats, which are your main predators for crappie and bass and stuff like that. They're the flathead in freshwater is apex predator. He's killing everything he comes across. I'm just telling y'all right now. He don't have no mercy. He eats everything. Crawfish, everything. So, if they had done something like that instead, they wouldn't overpopulate their lakes with catfish. Well, now they know, man, our brims went downhill. Our crappie, we ain't got near as many crappie. It's live scope killing them. It's all these tournaments killing them. Now, you overpopulated your lake with catfish. All right? So, the easy fix for that is allow the hoop nets or commercial fishermen to come in and catch some of the catfish out. Regulate the nets to where the crappie can still swim right through the mash, no problem. No big deal there. Very rarely catch a bass in a hoop net, but regulate it so if you do catch one, you got to turn him back. No big deal there, right? And then you take some of the catfish out, which is your apex predator. And if you take some of your catfish out, guess what's going to happen to the catfish that's left? They're going to get bigger because they got more to eat now, right? Because your other fish populations come back. So it's a win-win for everybody. So you got your trophy catfishermen now can go catch a trophy catfish. You got your crappie fishermen's happy now because they can eat crappie all day long. Your bass fishermen's happy because they can go fish tournaments and catch 10-pounders now. Everybody's happy. And then the commercial fishermen even make some money off the deal. So what they're doing in a lot of the lakes now, especially in Arkansas, is they're saying, okay, we had a limit on catfish. Now you can keep 10 over that limit. Why? Why are you allowing them to keep 10 over the limit? Now you overpopulated on catfish. So that's my take on that. Like, see, they overregulated. They thought they knew what was going on. They overregulated. They overregulated catfish or carp or buffalo or whatever. But either way, guess what? Danielle's home. She ain't gonna put up with all this talk and no work. She ain't gonna put up with it all. And that, I'm gonna tell y'all the honest truth. I don't know where to even start on this net. This thing, we got to figure out how much of it. I don't know if any of it's actually missing or not. All right. I know y'all didn't want to watch me for that long talking on my soapbox, but in my hopes of this is that in the end somebody gets educated. But we still gonna pass this shrimp net up. So what I want to do, appreciate y'all that put up with all that jabbering. I got to figure out, did any of this net tear out? What's missing? You know, I don't want to start on it and then just end up with my webbing off or whatever. So that's the hard part about a hole this big. You know, this little hole that was down there, that one, there's no doubt it's just a few strands missing. Just 1, 2, 3. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try. I'm gonna try to bring this phone in a little bit closer where y'all can see this netting some. Y'all may not be able to see my face or whatever is good, but y'all probably tired of seeing that anyway. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Like that one, there's only individual strands. 1, 2, 3 strands is all that's missing in that one. So that's a pretty easy fix. A hole this big is possibly the crab trap took out some webbing, but it might not have. So the first thing I gotta do is figure out, okay, this is all folded down, this is loose. So odds are it just ripped. Odds are I'm gonna have some webbing missing because I actually cut some out. But how much of it ain't missing? So I kind of got to start on one side, right, and get this gap closed up. So I need to kind of look at, and it looks like to me, I don't even know if y'all can see this, and I zoomed out. Lord help me. London, Ralph, let me catch up on these comments real quick, y'all. Sorry. Y'all, let me see, because I done had 2 people say they from Germany, and let's see, I know somebody said from Germany. What I miss? Y'all is all with me. Got about 20 minutes before the weather hits. I know somebody said Germany. I saw a Germany. Who is from Germany? Cold Creek, not against y'all, buddy. Not, I'm serious, like, we're not. There may be some people that are.
Lord, you going way back in them comments.
Well, I ain't read them all. Your Outdoors, 54, and biggest is 43. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I did, Cold Creek, Mr. Billy, I did talk to the guy in the tournament world, and he told me that in their tagging system, I don't know, I don't have verification of this. He said in their tagging system of those real big fish, they're not getting recaught. You know, there very rarely is one getting recaught. So the odds of a fish getting turned back and recaught in the big catfish world, pretty rare. Now that said, I know a commercial fisherman that caught a 90-something pound blue in the Mississippi River. Said it had 6 hooks in its mouth. He said they, no joke, had 6 hooks in his fish's mouth. That means that fish had bit 6 hooks that were baited, and he said it looked like a jewelry store in that fish's mouth. It was 90-something pound blue, biggest blue they'd ever caught. Had 6 or 7 hooks in its mouth. So they may rebite, but my point is, it's probably going to break somebody's line, or you're not going to end up landing the fish. Y'all know that in the catfish world. Odds of landing one over 50 is like, I know those guys that are fishing tournaments are set up for it. Thunderstorms warning over in the UK. Well, we got some more headed y'all's way. Yeah, we got the weather. That's terrible. All right, I tell y'all what, there's so many comments. I need Danielle to come out here and read some comments, what I need. That way I can get the tying net and bring me something to drink if she was real nice. Shrimping season going to be closed if I don't get that. Ken, you right. I got Ken. The thing is, I got all weekend to get this net, but I do need to get it finished today and dipped. Oh, that's you talking now. Hey, you gonna come read comments for me so I can get this net fixed? They done got me on soap. It's their fault. They got me on soapboxes talking about.
Oh, don't worry.
No, I started it. Y'all. All right, so I just like to hang a net up, like whether it's a hoop net or whatever. Y'all are not gonna be able to see this real good. I'm gonna try to get y'all some good sights on some of this repair work, but it's gonna be tough on me to get the angle that y'all can actually see.
Did you give them a heads up that the weather is
Oh yeah,
bad
yeah.
here?
Dylan come out and warned me that. Would you do me a huge favor? Could you fix me some ice water or something? And if you don't mind, come read some comments, because I know they're gonna comment on this stuff.
You already have a cup?
Like I said, y'all don't forget. Yeah, I don't. I had that one, but it fell and this stuff flipped upside down. Everything else. Yeah, I got a bottle of water out here. My cup's in there by the bed, where it's at. She's nice, y'all. Sometimes. Other times she ain't. Woo. Anyways, I got to figure out what I lost here, and right here on this one side, like I am really struggling to piece that rascal right there together. I think I kind of see it. I think it went. I think this thing is. I think. Well, I'm telling y'all, this is. I think it. I'll try to get y'all a better view. She's gonna come out here and read my comments in a minute. This is a super duper struggle to figure out how this busted out. But it pretty much it's almost a cross stitch. But you gotta get your webbing started right. So either way, I just gotta go in there. It's just like I normally tie. Some of y'all's watched my hoop net videos, and it's what I call a net tying knot or a netting knot. I don't really know what the name of the. Some of them talk about a Dutchman and all that. I don't know. Daddy didn't tell me what the knots was. He just showed me how to tie them, right? So all I do is go in from the bottom side back down in a piece of webbing like that, flip it over like that, around and back down and through. So I'm gonna tie that dude right there, and that's my first knot. Storm started, not meaning I'm friends. No, Cold Creek did not get a storm started. All these guys are good guys. What I miss? What I miss? What did I miss? Y'all tell me what I missed. I don't know. Cold Creek, I'm gonna tell you straight up, buddy. Mr. Billy. So, yep. I don't know what I missed. I'm missing a comment somewhere, evidently. Cold Creek. I'm gonna tell you regardless, buddy. No, that's what we're here for, Cold Creek. We're here for discussion. All these guys know that. No, we fixing to repair this net. Cold Creek, the thing these conversations, you didn't start these conversations, all right? And let me clarify that with all the other viewers. Cold Creek didn't start these conversations. He started it in this live. Not really. He just said who he was and where he was from and what world he was from. The conversation had done been had earlier this week. So let me clarify real quick one thing, that Cold Creek did not start my rambling. My rambling was already in my head from some of the conversations me and two more people have had this week about this very same subject, about trying to make sure that with our YouTube channels and with our fishing and stuff that we're not separating the fishing worlds. And that's what I was basically trying to clarify, is I'm not against anybody. I'm for everybody. But what I want everybody else to do, and what I want to bring to everybody else's attention, is that there's enough out there for all of us to do our own respectable sport or make a living. And that's what my full intentions with this YouTube channel is, to educate, basically. To educate. And look, if anybody has any question, I'm kind of like the commercial fisherman I was talking to earlier this week. If anybody has any question, if the wildlife fisheries contacts me and says, hey man, you know, we need to outlaw these hoop nets. No, we don't. Y'all come get in a boat with me, I'll show you why. I don't mind showing people why there's enough fish for a commercial fisherman and for the trophy guy. You see, where most of the commercial fishermen fish aren't the same waters that trophy guys fish, or these tournaments are fished. For most cases in the South anyways. And the reason I say that I know that for a fact is, and I don't mean a tournament won't be held on some of our waters, but most of the waters that are commercial, for the most part, commercial guys don't want big fish, okay? That's the first topic right there. Big flatheads, yeah, they're probably going to keep them because they can commercialize them. For the most part, there's not much market for huge blues. I can tell y'all for sure, talking to every fish market last year when I went commercial again, trying to see if I had some outlets to send fish to, every one of them told me the same thing: I don't want no blues over 10 pounds. So if they don't want no blues over 10 pounds, your problem solved. Guess what? I'm not keeping no blues over 10 pounds. Unless I eat it for myself or neighbor wants it or something like that. So those fish in that trophy realm are not going to be commercialized to that extent. Now the pay lake thing, totally different subject. Like I'm not even getting in that conversation. I don't have a leg to stand on in that conversation. I don't have a dog in that fight. I'm not even going to get in there. What I can tell y'all is, if you're not careful in trying to push regulations through, you're going to end up with some regulations on yourselves that you don't want. Because see, the states, the powers that be, don't look at this like, oh, well guess what, I got my tournament guys in here, I'm going to do everything in favor of the tournament guys. They're not looking at it that way. They're looking at it like, okay, we got an opportunity here to make some changes, and we got enough backing to push through those changes, so we're going to do it in favor of the fish. All right? So guess what you just got? You just got length restrictions, numbers restrictions, and everything else pushed down your throat when you really didn't want it to start off with. Now you even got to change how many fish you can weigh in at the tournament. Same thing is happening in the crappie world right now. I can tell y'all story after story after story about this, and it's the same thing that's happening in the crappie world. Now all of a sudden we got to go to 5 fish. Why? Because we got restrictions on some lakes that you can't keep with so many fish over a certain length or whatever. That's the same thing that's going to happen in the catfish world if you're not careful. Now, that said, if the catfish world, tournament world, leaves well enough alone, goes and catches their fish, you may not catch 12 fish, you might catch 8, you might catch 5, you might not catch none because you don't know how to fish. That said, if you leave well enough alone, the tournament world will be able to set its own regulations within the state regulations. right? So if you're allowed 10 fish in a certain state, or 25 or 100, whatever it is, we're allowed 100 in Louisiana. I don't know if any tournaments would even allow you to keep that many. I'm not sure. But if they set it to, say, 5 fish, whatever your heaviest 5 fish weigh, then you go catch your heaviest 5 catfish, fish your tournament, everybody's happy, right? Problem solved. Just regulate yourselves within your tournaments, within state laws, and just don't worry about the other guys is the best thing to do. By all means. Like, that's just the best thing to do. I'm still struggling, y'all, on this one, trying to figure out, and I know it just ripped down through there, but I'm pretty sure that one went there. I'm trying to play this out in my head. Problem I have is there's a seam right here. Y'all see that seam? I can read webbing real good. Y'all can see that seam right there where the shrimp net was made. I'm having a problem reading where my tie points was in this seam, but I think I got it. I think it was just sewed in a half mesh, and I think I can get it. But you know what? I'm gonna make it good enough to catch a shrimp, by golly. And then we ain't gonna worry about it after that. We're gonna dip it, and we're just gonna go catch a shrimp. What are you doing? You coming out here to harass me?
Yeah.
Anyways, how about y'all? But Mr. Billy, no worries here, man. You welcome to the channel. Believe me, I'm the one runs this channel, and ain't nobody here going to welcome you. We all we all out there for the same purpose. Just to enjoy the outdoors, fish, hunt, thank the creator, all that good stuff, you know. That's what we're about.
You got something I can plug this in.
Do what?
You got one I can plug this in.
I don't know what I'm doing here. Something is teetotally off.
We know that.
Look, didn't ask for no smart mouth.
It's okay. You got it anyways.
She harassing me already, y'all. I might should have started on the other side. This one's like a puzzle. I'm just, for some reason, having a real hard time figuring out. I mean, I think I got it, but sometimes a puzzle's hard to figure out. Sometimes even knowing how to tie and all, you got to figure out how it was originally, or your net's gonna set different and fish different and all that stuff. And I don't want that. Y'all hear that thunder in the background? It's getting noisy out here, y'all. I almost think I'd be better off just about start from this other side, start over. I can see this better, this other side, away from that seam better, so I'm gonna tie. What I like to do here is either tie a backing knot, or if I don't have any wind, I'll just burn it off and mushroom it. This side I'm a little confused on how it originally was, and I don't want to mess up the other side. So I know I can tell what the other side looks like, so I'm going to swap back over to this side and get a start over here, and at least come back this way as far as I can. I know it didn't tear a lot of mesh out, but I cut some out. God put the fish in water for us to eat. Yeah, it's and look, we can enjoy it. We don't, I mean, they there to eat. If we want to just recreate and release them, guess what? they there for another day. It's as far as we're concerned, we got no hard feelings. However, my look on it is, however a guy wants to go out there and fish, if he wants to catch and take his fish home within regulations, which is what we go by, so be it. More power to him. If he wants to go out there and fish a tournament and they want to release all their fish at the end of the day, guess what? More power to him. It ain't hurting me none. I just don't like it when the two arguing back and forth. And I'm not saying anybody in this thread is arguing about it. I'm just making note that we have problems in the outdoors, and a lot of people do argue about it. And I'm going to condone that we stop doing that. You know, that's our push in the fishing world, is that we all work together to keep and preserve. But when one person or one organization goes to trying to attack another person's way of life or another person's rights to fish a certain way, that's when I'm going to have a problem with it. That's not what we're here for. And it shouldn't be what they're there for, you know. All organizations within the fishing world should support the other organizations, is what I'm saying. And I'd like to see that from both worlds, not just one. As somebody that's been a part of both worlds. Still am in ways. I mean, I got friends in the tournament worlds, so I've got interest in the tournament world just like I do in the commercial fishing world.
Thunder rolls.
Getting dicey, y'all. I don't know. I know this net is green. I know my tie, and I tried to get it to where y'all can see some of what I'm doing here with this background. I don't know. Probably ain't giving y'all a real good view of what's.
Ken said the great outdoors is for everyone, not for one person to regulate.
Y'all here? Guess who showed up?
Mm-hmm.
She can sit over here where y'all can see her. She's on the other side. She's hiding.
No, I got my phone charging.
Oh, she got some excuse. I knew it was something.
And I had the iPad. So.
All right, I'm gonna tie a couple knots. One said the shrimping season was gonna close before I got this shrimp net repaired.
Yes, that was Ken. Because I agree.
That's pretty good, Ken.
Glenn said, you might have already read that one. I'm kind of going back just a little. He said, if I don't need fish, I turn them loose. There are some guys that I don't like. There are some guys that don't like our channel because we keep fish, but I'm okay if they don't. I'll still watch them at times.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
We get haters all the time.
Me and Glenn talked about this. And look, when I say we get haters and Danielle says we get haters, we do not get a ton of hate from anybody. We are overwhelmingly a supported channel.
Heck yeah.
We're very thankful.
All the support outweighs those one or two negatives that we get.
We're very thankful for that. We don't change the way we are or our views because somebody gets on our channel and bashes us over something, or that's the one thing. If you're new to our channel, you'll find that we are who we are. We are who we say we are. Nothing's gonna change about that. Y'all can ask Danielle. It ain't changed in how many years? 28 years. Because I told her when we met and we started hanging out about 2 weeks. I told her, I said, I tell you what. I said, you want to hang out? That's fine, but don't expect me to be changing none. Because what you see is what you get.
And I told him the same thing. My mama told him that. Said Danielle don't care to nobody.
Yeah, I held true to that, you know. And to be honest about it, she started doing most of the stuff that I do, and she enjoys it. So I don't make her go and do it. You know, there's days. The only thing's really changed anything as far as her running around me hunting and fishing and stuff. The only one thing that has changed any of that in 28 years, believe it or not, is a grandson. Because when we had our kids, she would either make me babysit, believe it or not, and go get in a deer stand or she would backpack them little suckers in a deer stand with her, and they would sleep right there in a deer stand while she was hunting. And that's just the way it was. Poor little old Miles just don't know it yet, but he ain't been drugged around like his mama got drugged around.
No.
Danielle's over here laughing because she knows I'm telling the truth about this, y'all.
Ralph UPS, he's the one from the United Kingdom, right?
UK? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, he's UK.
Okay, is there any bears to hunt where you are?
We have bears. There you go. Y'all get me on my soapbox again. We have bears, but in our Louisiana don't have counties. We've got parishes. In our parish, presently, they're protected. We don't. We have a. They opened a season last year in the state of Louisiana, but there was only 10 or 11 tags given out, and none of them were for where we live. So there's a big push because these bears are really causing lots of problems, right? And it appears that everything's gonna be all nice and cuddly when you turn these animals that's been pushed out of an area back into the area in their native natural habitat. Well, guess what? They don't have a natural habitat no more. Yeah, there's probably room for some bears and us to live, but the natural habitat ain't what it was when it was populated, when the state was populated with black bears. So there's a lot of stuff for them to get into now. And everybody that's dealt with black bears knows they getting into and they gonna tear up anything that has a food source. It don't matter if it's your truck, your car, your four-wheeler, your deer stand. I have seen whole sides ripped off of deer stands by these suckers. Had ground blinds torn up. You can't leave a candy, and it's not even food. You can't leave a corn sack or a candy wrapper. You cannot leave any trace of food scent in anything where there's a black bear or he's tearing it up. Okay? That said, we've gotten to the point where our state, even in the parishes that have not opened the season yet, we're extremely overpopulated. They say there's 1,000 black bears, around 1,000 black bears is a biologist count in the state of Louisiana. One, either they know that's wrong and they're just saying that for political reasons or to publicize it, so they don't have any argument against us opening a season, or they just don't know what they're doing, one of the two. And the reason I say that is because everybody I know here in my parish, at my house, around me, in places they shouldn't even exist, is getting pictures of bears. I think we've probably got 1,000 of them in Union Parish alone, not counting heavier populated parishes in the state. Our problem here is we got a lot of pine trees. Y'all can see, we've got lots of trees, right? Timber like this.
Thank goodness.
So they can hide real well in this stuff, right? Them bears can get in this and you can't see them. You can't get a picture of them unless you pour out some corn, then you'll for sure get a picture of them. So, to answer your question, we got plenty of bears. I'm hog hunting here last month, I guess it was April. What was that, April? I'm hog hunting.
Babe, it's
we got
June
a
now.
big
So that was
boar
2 months ago.
wearing us out. I go in there 2-3 days in a row trying to kill this big boar, and a bear comes in, and guess what? Hogs don't like bears. They won't come in where there's a bear. So it made it impossible to kill that boar. The bear wouldn't leave. I run him off 2 or 3 times just trying to get him to go on and get out of the food source, and he wasn't having it. So that was a whole nother subject. But this happens constantly to our deer hunters and our hog hunters, constantly having problems with bears and their food sources. You know, so between CWD and outlawing feeding, which is what they're pushing now, that's a whole nother subject we won't even get started on today. And the bears and the hogs, in the next 10 years, you're going to see Louisiana's hunting. The whole horizon's going to change for everybody, y'all. Like everybody. That's why we don't hunt Louisiana now. We live in Louisiana and hunt in Arkansas for a reason. it's because the regulations is. We just, like, it just blipped. I know it just blipped because I saw it. What just happened? The live blipped.
I'm still watching.
Look, we got 40-something people on now. We've had up to around 50-something. 40-something might be as big as we had. I don't know. Not a lot of people's been on today. It's Friday. Everybody's at work. I get it. But we already got 66 thumbs up. And I ain't even asked y'all to hit the thumbs up. But if y'all hadn't hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button. Look at here. Maybe I can get that. Can y'all see the new thread right there? See if I can get that to where y'all can see it. Yeah, y'all can see it right here. See the new thread? That's what I'm doing. Like I said, this is 3/4 inch mesh, crab trap tore hole in the shrimp net. Planning on going shrimping next week. We're probably going to have to dodge some thunderstorms and stuff. Pretty excited about that trip. Danielle can't go again because she got to work.
This is a guy's trip.
Let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all think Danielle ought to just quit her job, stay with me on making the videos? What do y'all think about that? Y'all hear her laughing? How many of y'all think Danielle should quit her job?
The last 2 days.
If y'all think Danielle should quit her job and go full-time YouTube, y'all let me know. Y'all let us know in the comments.
Oh, Lord.
We'll get a vote. We'll let the viewers decide. Y'all think she should keep working or quit and be full-time, be the YouTube channel manager?
And the housemaid.
And the housemaid and the cook and, you know, have things taken care of when I get home.
That sounds more like a slave.
So we got Richard says, about time. Wait, we got a Canada off invite. Need to come to Canada and hunt. We have all the big game you would ever want to hunt. Francine, my question, Francine, is do you got access to these hunts or these big games, or are you just saying in general? Because look, if somebody has access to some of this stuff or has some property in Canada and they invite us up, we're probably coming.
Carl said if budget allows, go for it. Taylor said yes, Miss D retired. I got like
Taylor, you don't understand. She won't be retiring.
Yeah, I can
She gonna go to work full time for me. Like she won't be retiring. She gonna be working. She gonna be working on the YouTube channel. If she like, that ain't part of the deal. Retirement. It's not like she can just come sit home and not do nothing.
I will do a lot.
She gonna have to. She gonna have to.
Him would be buddies.
She gonna have to justify not working. You know. I mean, it's.
I come home from work and I clean house. Dylan folded all the laundry, which was amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, they're wanting you to not have to do nothing. Like,
they didn't say that.
I'm not about that. He said.
Okay, Ken says, I'm sorry if I sound stupid, but I have never drug a net for shrimp in my life. But why do you want to put all the webbing back in the net? You can't just pull it together and tie the hole shut. Sorry. That would kind of change the size, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, Ken, that's a good question. No, appreciate the question, Ken. I done told you, like, there is no bad questions, right?
There's stupid questions.
We already know. Well, there's not even stupid questions because we know that some people don't know what we're doing here. I want it. It kind of be like a hoop net, right?
Imagine the lady double. I agree.
Imagine. Oh, I'm like over on the side of this or something. I don't. If you could imagine.
I just made them.
I ain't believing. She's probably gonna get double. She has fixed my drink bus, y'all. Gee whiz.
You don't know how to get
still. Alright, so imagine like a hoop net. And you got this hoop net and you ripped like 3 meshes out of it, like the whole meshes, and you just pulled it back up. Then the hoop net would be wobble sided, right? It would, 2 of the hooks, instead of setting like this, it might set like this now. The same way with a shrimp trawl. Like when you go to dragging, and you'll see it in some of our videos, like we'll have a tail bag in the end of the net and there'll be some weight there, excuse me, but in that weight in the back of that net, that's pulling that net stretched tight, right? So in case we rip another hole or something, the last thing we want this net to do is get out of its dimensions. We want it as close back to its dimension, the way it was made from the factory as possible, so it rides right in the water, so it sets right. We don't want to start. You could, to answer your question, in a pinch down there, we could have sewed it back up, shrimp, and still caught shrimp, right? Obviously, our last drag, y'all gonna see in our video, with this hole in here, we still caught 20 pounds of shrimp. All right, in our length of time that we can drag, which is less than an hour, it's like 40 minutes or something. But this, we drag about 30 minutes, pull up, got 20 pounds of shrimp in this hole in there. What would we have if we didn't have the hole in there? Probably caught 40, 50 pounds of shrimp. We was on them. We had found the shrimp. The weather got bad. The shrimp had come out. We was on the shrimp, and this happened. So it totally messed us up. We could have sewed it back up and drug like that. No problem. We'd still caught some shrimp, and they wouldn't have got out this hole. I could sew this up quick, but I'm trying to actually tie mesh back into it. The missing mesh, I want all of those back in it, and the reason being is because we're starting from scratch, right? And when I get this patch job done, just like we dip our nets in some of our videos, I'm going to dip this net, and it'll lock all these knots in place. And once these knots are not locked in place, then this net's like a new net again. And that's the way we want to, just trying to keep it as new as possible. We know it's not going to be perfect, but we want it as new as possible. That's just our that's just the right method, whatever you want to call it, methodology, or I don't really know what you...
Physics.
Yeah. Daniel said physics. Yeah, I kind of messed up right here. We're actually missing like some loops here. So
On a side note, who's for LSU, who's for Arkansas? Go LSU.
she said, on a side note, what is she talking about?
Baseball. We talk about baseball now. Since softball's over.
I already know there's going to be some Arkansas guys jump on here. For sure. So sometimes when we're sewing this in,
there you go, Crunchy Cracker.
Heck, he's in Alabama. He's hollering, "Go Tigers!" It's from Louisiana, though.
We don't. No, I'm sorry, it ain't a roll tide on the baseball or softball.
Yeah, they ain't in it no more. So you gotta root for who you want.
We'll continue to. We'll go with them for football sometimes, but.
I guess you can't retire yet, because didn't about 3 people get on there and say you need to retire.
Go Hogs.
Who said that?
Deputy Dan.
Deputy Dan?
Yep.
Has he commented before?
I haven't seen him, but see,
Where you been at, Deputy Dan? So
I'll leave it up to Danielle to get y'all started. I never pull for another team except for LSU. That's Dylan. Dylan does not really go for any other team but LSU. He was going to go to Omaha. Go Tigers. There we go. Will you finish the net today? No, he will not finish
I've
that net.
got to finish the net today. I don't got no choice.
Will you finish the net today? Yes, retire her so she can help the boat clean and ready to go and do the video and keep track of the weather. You know the thing.
My eyes are going bad. I have to look at this thing. I mean, once we get the missing webbing.
Deputy Dan said, just watching all your videos. Thank you. Carl said roll tide. Get it. Gotta go. Go Tigers. We have hunting packages for every animal and all tags for them. You might have to research before you come. That's for Canada. What's up, Crunchy? That is. Hold on. Gotta catch up later. Gotta get the boat ready. I'm with you, Miss Danielle. Thank you. Bite threads. What's up? I'm waiting for the weather to pass so I can hurry up and do my walking. I got 3 miles to do.
So I'm studying over here, y'all. What I have to do is I have to look at this.
Tigers can't even spell good.
Play it out the way the thread's gonna run, so I know I'm starting as early, as far back as I can, and getting as much webbing side in with each time I tie my twine on and start sewing. So I think I got about 7 or 8 knots figured out, so that's what I'll do. I'll start here.
The birds are gonna come under. Well, welcome to the channel, Deputy Dan. I hope you like our
What do you say, you just got on here?
He lives in Hot Springs, and he's watching all our videos. Just watching all y'all's videos.
Awesome, glad to have you.
If Danielle quit her job, she could be fixing that net. I would.
That's exactly what she's gonna have to go to you, because she don't pay attention.
Yes, I do, but he has me doing like 500 other
She's gonna have to get on YouTube and figure out how to patch nets.
And my ADHD takes place, and my brain goes everywhere. Like, I'll be talking about one thing, and then it'll be my brain will be doing something else. That's why people never need to think that I'm thinking ugly thoughts about them or something. Now, my facial expression might be saying different, but my brain. The other day, all I was thinking about is this 2026 or 2025.
I think I just tied this on the wrong. I did. Yes.
Carl gave a peace sign.
Goofy me.
Can't leave us, Carl. I roll tide during football, but I also say go Tigers, go Dogs. Because I like my Louisiana Tech, but they're local. I'll stick with the local. Only time I say go Hogs is whenever I'm like, we're hog hunting. That's what I'm ready to do. Y'all encourage Bradley so we can go up to the hunt club and bait up my hogs. I'm ready to go hog hunting again.
Yeah, it's about time for us to get back on the hog trapping. We know that.
I want a couple
That's
of
about
hogs.
to roll back around.
Won't be long. Miss
Yeah,
college football.
this is probably gonna be a longer live, y'all. I don't know.
Deputy Dan says I tie jigs all the time, but the net thing is above my pay grade.
No, it's learnable. It's probably easier than tying jigs, to be honest about it, Deputy Dan.
He might have to make this live into 2 different lives, because we have somebody special coming over this afternoon.
Well, I'll have it. Yeah, we might end up, I don't know, I might end up going live again tomorrow. I've also got a brand new shrimp net. I did a video on like setting up the bib and stuff on it for catching white shrimp. And we're probably going to be actually like doing some of the setup on that. Maybe tomorrow, trying to get it ready to catch some white shrimp. White shrimp jump higher than, they're a little sneakier than brown shrimps. 2 different types of shrimp that we go after in South Louisiana. You got white shrimp, you got brown shrimp. Brown shrimp kind of stick to the bottom a little bit. They don't swim high in the water as bad as white shrimp do. White shrimp are really fast moving. They jump faster, and they'll jump your net. So especially a smaller net like this. So we end up fishing or shrimping with a bib, what's called a bib, to keep those. It kind of runs out over the front of the net a little bit, so when they jump, they hit in that bib, and you still catch them. They don't jump over the top of the net. Most of the guys in South Louisiana now use skimmers. A lot of skimmer guys down there. What I'm seeing run down there. I don't know much about skimmers. We trawled. I never was in on the. We had skimmers on one of our boats at one time, and I don't know. Daddy didn't keep them on there very long, and it was in the season when I wasn't shrimping a lot. You got some more comments done popped up.
Yep, I'm just letting you talk.
So,
How would I get in contact if I needed to buy some catfish? That came from Deputy Dan. He's up in Hot Springs.
man, I don't know if you wanted to buy catfish, like as far as Arkansas. I mean, surely there's some commercial fishermen up y'all's way. You know, that's what I would be looking for is word of mouth, or ask around and find a commercial fisherman. I know there's some guys down here commercial fishing, and we don't really sell very much fish at all. Like, we're not really into the commercial end for sales. We just got commercial license so we can fish however many nets we want without getting in trouble. And we don't have to count like the small channel cats and stuff, because commercial, there's no limit. But there's some guys here that sell like on Facebook. You know, they'll post, they got fresh fish weekly on Facebook and stuff. So you can look at your marketplace on your Facebook.
Towards that area.
Yeah.
That's in Hot Springs.
In your area, and see if like any of those guys up there sell catfish. But you find you a good commercial fisherman up there, and y'all see this exactly goes back to my earlier conversation about commercial fishermen. You know, a lot of these commercial fishermen, 80% of them, 90% of them are not trying to make a living commercial fishing. They do it as a supplemental income. Fishing's hard work, y'all, especially commercial fishing. Everybody, if you fish with a rod and reel, you already know it's hard work. It takes a lot of money and a lot of effort. So the guys that are commercial fishing, most of them just sell a few. They're not selling a lot. So you find you one of those guys, just like this fellow's asking, hey, where can I buy some fish at? There's a ton of people out there that are either, and I'm not saying, some of them just don't fish, okay? You got 20-year-olds that don't fish, but they like to eat fish. You got people that's elderly people that are retired. They don't have the ability, or may not have a boat, might not can get out there, might not can afford to fish, but they just want to.
You even have young people, like you were saying, though, that work full-time jobs that don't.
Some people work so much. You know, you work so much, put in so many hours, you ain't got time to go out there and fish, but you like to eat them. That's what your commercial fisherman's for. That's what the commercial industry. You're taking a resource, right? You got a guy. He's not drawing, you know, a government check. He's not sitting at home not doing nothing. He's working. He's physically out there doing the hardest work I've ever done in my life. I'm being honest with y'all. Y'all see us in them hoop net videos sometimes. I just sit down and try to catch my breath. Like, geez. I mean, there's nothing else like it in the United States, I don't think, physically, to beat a man down like commercial fishing. Either way, you got people that can't go and catch their own fish. That's where the commercial fisherman comes in. You know, he's supplying food for people that is organic. You know, it didn't come in a grocery store. It has no hormones added to it, no steroids, no preservatives. It is a natural food that God gives us.
Your farmers support your commercial fishermen, support your farmers.
Yeah, it's a natural food, God-given food that is supplied by most cases good people. Just trying to make a little living, you know, just trying to make a little money. So why would we not support something like that? You gotta be careful what you're fighting against in life, and that's, you're talking about a really small realm of people that some people are quick to attack or fight against. And why are we fighting against them people? You know, even if I didn't hold a commercial license, I'd still not fight against that guy, because I've experienced it and I know what it takes to do that. And Yeah, I know y'all gonna be saying, "Are you ever gonna finish this shrimp net?" I get it. Yes, I'm gonna finish this shrimp net. But that's just a perfect, every day we run into examples of why we do stuff. You know, why do I do what I do? I don't know. I like to work hard, I guess.
Okay, I'm back.
Because I
Well,
grew up
recall me.
doing it. It's all I know. I didn't really grow up,
Okay.
in a bad environment doing drugs and stuff like that. I grew up fishing and hunting. And what? Speaking of drugs.
No, we don't. No.
No, we don't.
Okay,
we're
so
not
here's
those
the
people.
questions. Do you gator hunt? That would be awesome. No, we have not gator
I
hunted.
have never.
We
gator
did put in
hunted.
our tags.
We put in 1 year. Probably would have drawn the following, and y'all see what happens. The gator season this year, my understanding of it is it's opening up into. There's too many gators in the state of Louisiana. All right, everybody knows it. Even up to the Wildlife and Fisheries Department, everybody knows it. If it wasn't too many gators, we wouldn't be having phone calls go in every day. We wouldn't have nuisance hunters and all this stuff, right? So we know there's too many gators. It's costing the state money. It's costing the state resources. Why can our special interest groups or our commissioners not come up with a plan to fix this? The fact of the matter is they don't live in my world. These people do not live in my world. They do not know what we go through, what those people in South Louisiana trying to commercial fish make a living with their hoop nets. And 2 out of 10 hoop nets, every time they raise them, is torn up because an alligator or a shark got in there. Well, they're slowly starting to see the effects on the economy, and they're slowly starting to make some adjustments. So they expanding the alligator season this year, right? That's a step in the right direction. Guess what? Did they let any more tags out? It's still a lottery system. So my fix is this. If I'm a state and I want revenue, I don't know. Maybe I just run for governor.
Okay, another question then.
Let me
Yeah.
finish this one. I'm finishing this one. My take on it is this. I could fix this gator issue. I don't need a lottery system. Do what Arkansas did with their black bears. Put a quota on the gators, whatever it is. Okay. I don't know the numbers of the gators. I'm not a gator guy, so I don't know the numbers of them. Let's say it's 20,000 a year. Okay. Or 5,000. Let's say it's 10,000 a year. Nice even number. I got a 10,000 gator quota. All right. I make it legal for all my hunters in the state of Louisiana to go catch alligator. You get one. You get 1 gator apiece. Is there going to be 20,000 people at least that want to go catch an alligator in the state of Louisiana? Absolutely. I would be one of them. So allow that quota to be met, and if they catch, limits 10,000 now. After the first day, the computer systems go in, you got to enter your gator, just like they're doing the bear in Arkansas. Quota may be 2,000. Soon as, if 2,000 is not met the first day, then guess what? We still got too many black bears. Okay? So the way they do it, the Arkansas guys know. They got this right. They're doing a lot of things right in Arkansas right now. Louisiana's so far behind, it's not even funny.
Now their price is a little.
Why? Because our hands is in the cookie jar down there. Okay? So here's the deal. And you got
I agree with Steven.
factory owners and lawyers and stuff that are sitting on these committees. Those guys aren't in the woods every day like me or some of you are. Okay? They don't know what's out there in the woods. You got to know what's out there before you know how to adjust and how to fix things. Everybody knows now we got a problem with alligators. There's too many of them. They're all in people's yards. They got pets and everything else. Alligators are everywhere. They're tearing up everything. You can't fish for them. They're a nuisance, almost. At one time, they were endangered in the state. I get it. We don't want to kill all of them. They're a good thing to have around at times. You know, they're a resource. But now that the state's got a resource, sell the tags. Sell the tags for, I don't know, $30 a piece. Who would give $25, $30 for a resident let's do 200 a piece for non-resident or 250. You got non-residents that would love to come kill an alligator. I guarantee
Well,
you.
that's what Steven just did.
I
He
guarantee you
said
they would
that-
pay $250 for a
Yeah.
non-resident alligator tag.
That's what he just said. You know, communicate with that. Those kind of people don't care. He said,
Maybe-
"Do you know how many out-of-state hunters would love to take a gator?
Yeah,
It
let
could
me
bring
finish.
a lot of revenue to the state."
Let me finish. So, yeah,
Management.
So-
That's what he just said.
we do a quota on alligators. We give the commercial guys, which I talked to a commercial guy this week, okay? They lose money to go alligator hunt. They doing this, you know, we see swamp people, everything else, like, they doing that for fun. They don't make money doing that no more. There's no market on alligators. Our government has destroyed the market on fur, gators, all this other stuff. They destroy the markets on this stuff. Look, offer up a tag. We got a resource right there, alligators. Offer up a tag. I don't know what the number would be. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 tags. A lot, so much of it to the commercial side. A lot the rest of it to recreational residents, and allow 10% non-residents. Okay? Put it in a lottery system. $250 a tag for non-residents, $25 a tag for residents, just like all the other states are doing for elk license and everything else, okay? Guess what? I still go to Colorado and elk hunt every year because I want to go elk hunt. They go up another $100, guess what? I'm still going to go next year, right? It's a resource for Colorado, for the state, even though they don't do things right up there. It's a resource.
Ready?
If we do that, no, I'm not finished. If we do that in the state of Louisiana, then at the end of 24 hours, they run a check. Oh, well, the quota was 10,000. We only caught 9,900. Well, guess what? It means you're still overpopulated. So you run it for one more day. Okay, well, they caught 4 more thousand the second day. So see what we just did? We just caught 14,000 gators. We adjusted our population in the state of Louisiana, and everybody's happy. And guess what? The state would be happy because they would make more money than they make now. Now look, if I can figure it, I'm just an old redneck sitting up here sewing a darn shrimp net together. And if I can figure this out, how come in the world our politicians and our commissioners cannot figure this deal out? Y'all let me know in the comments. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's rocket science. I just think literally the reason they don't figure things out and the reason they can't figure things out is because they got special interest. Y'all gonna hear me say this a lot. They got special interest people and groups in their ear. Okay? So
That's why it's called politics.
that's exactly right. Danielle's right. That's why it's called politics. If I've got this guy funding me or my organization, and he tells me we got to keep this like it is, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep it like it is, right? But if I really put all that to the side and I quit listening to these special interest groups, these special interest people, and I say, you know what, I'm going to straighten my state out. I'm going to straighten out my sportsman's paradise out. We're going to take it back and we're going to do it right. Then look what we could do if we just put some common sense to this thing. You know, I'm going to tell you what, if I wanted to do any adjustments or anything in the state of Louisiana to like the fishing side of things, I'm not looking for a business owner, okay? I'm not looking for a business owner. I don't care who you are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I offend you, business owner. I'm sorry. I'm not looking for a business owner to the side of like, I own the biggest factory in Louisiana, dealing with this, dealing with shrimp, dealing with whatever it may be. And like I said, I challenge you to go look at who the commissioners actually are. I think if I tried to talk to them, they probably wouldn't listen. But what I do think is if we bind together as a community in the YouTube world, right, because we're public now, I think you could see some things change in the long run because we actually have a voice. You know, if we've got a bunch of people and a bunch of support behind something, that's how you get things done, right? So long term, that's what our goal is. No, Richard.
No, we ain't doing
Yeah,
president.
they wouldn't want that one.
I
I honestly don't know.
know.
I'd have to put lots of thought, but probably be retired and all that before I would even consider any type of
He wouldn't do
political office.
politics. No,
I don't, you know,
we vote. That's
tell you
the
what
thing.
I'd rather be. Tell you what I'd rather be than one of those politicians. I'm not a politician. I'd rather them do their job is what I'd rather happen. What I'd rather be is a guy that they pull in the office and sit down at the table and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or if you don't know, do you know anybody in your world, since you're reaching out to hundreds of thousands, millions of people? You know, we're going to pull, our channel is going to pull 1.5 million views this month. Y'all put that into perspective. So how many people do we reach on a small, what I call a small YouTube channel? So if they would do that, then maybe I'm in contact with some people in my world that could go in and sit down and discuss some stuff. But here's what I know. I already have people that's doing that sit down in office with them, that's met with them and had these discussions in my world that didn't do no good. They still didn't listen to what the people had to say. You know, they'll tell them what their opinion is, but at the end of the day, they still going to go back to their special interest group, their biologist, or whatever. You know what I know how to do? I know how to catch fish. And I don't care. I don't care. Look, it doesn't matter to me. You could lower the fish population by 50% in the state of Louisiana and everybody water Louisiana. Guess what I'm going to do next week? I'm still going to go catch fish. It's about knowing fish and how much there is, where they're at, all of that. You know, 90% of the water don't have no fish in it. 95%. Fish, the water, only 5% of it holds fish. So you got to be in the right part of the water to catch fish. Yeah, boots on the ground, Stephen. That's right. So, all right, back to sewing the netter. We ain't gonna get done. I'm still talking. I get carried away. Y'all get me started.
I was just thinking, should individual states have their own government?
Y'all see what I did right here? I sewed up some here, so now I got a smaller block. Yeah, maybe y'all can see it when I kind of turn it a little bit. Y'all can see I still got a hole on this side, the big part, and I still got a hole right here, but it's a smaller hole now. So what I did, I kind of patterned this out because I knew I had some extra webbing missing on this side, and I sewed that up, so now I ain't got such a big hole to worry about, and like I can get my mind focused more on this one side here. Now,
So-
what was the question
Okay,
again?
going back, let's go back a few comments after your other soapbox. I love those hog trapping videos. Me too. I love hog hunting. So I'm trying to talk Bradley into baiting up at the hunt club so we could go do a little hog hunting. That's my favorite thing.
How
One of my
many
favorites.
of y'all
Okay.
knew? How many people in this live? Y'all comment. How many? If you're watching, you comment. How many people in this live know what our first long video was? How many people knows what our first long video was? And there's a reason for that, because that's what we do. That's what we like to do. That's us. I mean, it's a hog trapping video. Y'all go back and watch. If you hadn't watched that one, and you don't want to buy a bunch of electronics, you want to go catch some hogs, that's a good one to watch, because we show like old school drop gate, trigger, how to rig the trigger up, all of that, and it's probably one of our best hog trapping videos. It didn't pull a lot of views because we didn't have a following. So once a video kind of crashes and burns or flattens out, YouTube don't give it a lot of impressions, so they're not putting it out there recommending it for people to watch, so it never pops back up again. It still don't have like a ton of views. That said, we dropped that video again, or parts of it, in our 2-hour hog trapping episode, and it did great. So that part of that video has been in 2 different videos. hog trapping is, for us, is one of our things that we just like to do.
I like it.
We was already hog trapping.
Yeah.
We didn't start hog trapping. It hit on the channel pretty good. Everybody likes it. The making sausage and all that, we was doing all of that before we ever started YouTube. I did not learn how to do that stuff to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We started a YouTube channel doing what we do, just being us. So I think that's where we ain't the best talkers. We ain't the best looking people, or the, you know, we ain't tearing the thumbnails up. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now, but you know, like, we just country folks, and we keep it real and do our thing, and it's always been about what we do, and we'll stay true to that. And I think from what we can tell and what we can see and the feedback we get from you guys, that's kind of why people watch this channel.
One thing, I mean, the thing is that I love fishing. Don't get me wrong. And so many people on our channel love fishing. But I love sitting in a deer stand, or I love going hog hunting. That's one of my favorites.
Danielle's sitting in a deer stand. I'm not as bad about the deer as she is. She's sitting in a deer stand all day long.
Or I sit in my
and never
boat,
come out of it.
you know, sit in there. I love doing that. That's my time.
I like to go eat some lunch. What I like to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's my favorite part of deer hunting is going to eat lunch.
Yeah. I just.
What y'all think? That's my favorite part. It ain't even killing deer. It's going to eat lunch.
I don't even have to kill
That's
a deer.
always my highlight of the day. Let's go eat some lunch.
I don't even have to kill a deer. I just sit there, and it's my time. Peace, quiet. You're out there. You don't know what you will see. You might see a fox run by. You might see hogs. You might see deer that, you know, you don't want to sit there and harvest, but, you know, you watch them and let them do their thing.
So back to what Franzine said about Canada.
Okay, yeah.
Is she saying, if she's still watching, not sure, huh?
Oh, she just commented. We have hogs in Canada and we can't hunt them. They say they are not a problem.
Yeah, they're a big problem. They're wrong. See, there again.
Stress management, Danielle. That is correct.
The officials have no idea what they're talking about. The hogs are a huge
But
problem.
that's in Canada.
It doesn't matter where they're at. They're a huge problem. They're gonna be. They can tell you what they want. You ain't gotta believe it. And I'm just telling you, they're gonna be a huge problem. That at the rate they multiply at, you can't start trapping them and offing them right now and actually make a dent in them. You're not gonna do any good.
Do you have turtle devices in your nets? We don't. No, we just put cheese.
They're not talking about that. They're talking about the shrimp nets.
Oh.
But Francine, are y'all an outfitter? Do y'all running an outfit? Because you said something about packages or something, like hunt packages. Huh?
Is it a Mr. or a Mrs.?
And I'm assuming you're female by the name Francine, but you can let me know because I'm not sure about Canadian names and stuff. But are y'all an outfitter?
I got red bugs.
What was the time? Oh, the turtle. Who asked that?
Turtle devices in your nets. I see. That's where I didn't know
I do
what
not have a turtle device in this
about.
net. The law is written different.
The law is written different way.
The law is written different if you retrieve your net by mechanical means. In the state of Louisiana, you have to have a turtle excluder device, right? We don't retrieve it by mechanical means. This is a hand trawl, what they basically call a hand trawl. So as long as in the state of Louisiana, as long as you're using a hand trawl and you retrieve it, pull the tail bag in by hand and all of that, and that's a good question because that's educating some people on what we got going on with the shrimp deal. Because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. When we're out there shrimping and in these videos y'all going to see, I forget to mention so much stuff. So if you got questions, ask it in the comments. We'll reply if we see a comment. But I can legally trawl up to a 25-foot trawl in the state of Louisiana without a turtle excluder device. TED is called. As long as we don't have a mechanical means of retrieval, and we don't in the boat. We're pulling. Y'all see us pulling it in by hand with the ropes,
Exercise.
pulling the tail bag over in the side. It's a lot of work. It's a little hard on the back. To me, I wish they would change that law just a smidget. Retrieval of the net. There's a gray area in there, right, with retrieval. Let me put me a pole, and this is one thing I need to talk to the state about. See if we can lobby for this with the commissioners, maybe. I've been on the commissioners today. Maybe somebody sees this and sends it to commissioner. What I'd like to see happen. Look, I don't want to have to be a burden to the state later in my life. I don't want to have to be a burden to nobody. I'd rather keep my back. So look, I can pull that net in by hand, no problem. I can retrieve that net. Pulling that tail bag over in that boat sometimes gets a little hard. So write it in the laws to where you can't retrieve the net by mechanical means, or you got to have a TED, but you can have a pole jib to where you can winch up your tail bag, okay? So see, that's another thing. If I ever did go into office, I'm going to fix that for the recreational guys, or for that matter, the commercial guys that decide not to have mechanical means of retrieval, because I would do things with a little more common sense than doing it the way they write their laws. So that's just one little smidget that don't affect a lot of people. That, they're all the time wanting to make new laws and pass new laws and stuff to justify them being a lawmaker. Hey, pass one for me. Let me put a pole up here on my boat, keep my net like it is, retrieve my net by hand, but hey, let me winch up my tail bag, please. Just, yeah. We're going to fix all kind of things by the time I'm going to fix a bunch of stuff by the time I get the net fixed.
So, Frank, you haven't even, like I told Ken, I don't think you've even tied a knot.
I have tied a bunch of knots. I'm working on it. It's a slow process. I said this is going to be a lot of people ain't going to watch the whole thing.
Okay, so.
We're about to see what long lives are all about.
So, Francine said know about being an outfitter, but there are outfitters that will take you out for anything with a tag.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to get some clarification if she was or she was
Brenda
just
said,
talking in general.
Hello, I'm over here on the side.
Who?
I'm letting my iPad and my phone charge. So I'm back here in the back. Every now and then I poke in. Okay, so Deputy Dan said, y'all are our kind of folks. We're old country folks living vigorously for you.
Trying to let y'all see. I'm pulling this something up backwards, but I've almost got this hole. And y'all look.
Bradley, I've never eaten wild hogs. How does it compare to commercial meat? It does have a different taste.
It's different, it don't even taste like the same meat. Mm-hmm. It don't even taste like the same meat. Now, what I am going to say is the fat on commercial hogs is, when you grain feed hogs, the fat becomes a heavier, thicker, more dense fat. So fat on wild hogs, for whatever reason, is a lot oilier. So if you make sausage out of wild hog, it's almost a better quality sausage. Whether it's better for you or not, I can't really say because I don't know the science on it. But the sausage would be better if you take the wild fat out and add domestic fat in. Okay? You ain't got to take all of it out. I'm talking about take a higher percentage of that wild fat out. Now, you don't have to. We make sausage all the time. That said, the cuts of meat on a wild hog are not going to be as tender because you don't get the marbling in the meat that you get by feeding them corn all the time and having them locked up in a pen somewhere. So you're not going to have as tender a meat. It's going to be a little tougher.
Potatoes.
There's ways you can cook them. We show some of that in the videos and stuff, that they're just as tender as any meat out there. So it's all about preparation and cooking. I'll say,
I love you.
From our standpoint, big fat sow in the wintertime is probably too good to throw away. And as far as that goes, the little ones are too. That said, there's so many little suckers out there, especially where we hunt, that it is impossible for me to put in the freezer all of those little suckers. So to keep them from becoming bigger nuisances than they already are when they're small, we take out every one of them we get a chance to take out. Okay, we're not lightly populated with hogs. We killed 150 hogs last year on our lease in Arkansas. To put that in correlation with deer, we killed, what did we kill? I don't even know if we hit 30 deer.
Y'all just encourage Bradley to take me home.
We killed like 30 deer. We did like 30 deer
take that girl home, honey.
on our lease in Arkansas compared to 150 hogs. So I think most of the guys that deer hunt where there's hogs at, they already know we're in big trouble on this hog deal, guys. Big trouble. You know, it's not getting any better for us any sooner. We're trapping them and doing everything we can in our power to make them hurt the population is what we want to do. We don't even want them coming back no more. I wouldn't care if I ever seen one again. I'm just telling you, that's the way I feel about it. But it ain't gonna happen. We already know we're fighting a losing battle. That's why I say with the states can manage better. Arkansas is doing some stuff. They opened a program that we're part of, that we got into, where the state had some grants that come out, or some money they funded, I think $2.5 million to assist landowners and leasers and stuff like that in a trapping program to incentivize us to trap hogs. And they didn't all out buy everything. It was set up right. They got a pretty good program where you get a certain amount of your money back on a trap. You got to buy it up front and all that. And it was limited to a certain amount of people. We applied, didn't get accepted. Some of the people didn't follow through with what they said they was going to do, that took the agreement up front. And the state went back over the applications, and we were in that file of applications, and we got accepted. And glad we got to be a part of that, because they paid, what percentage was it, Danielle? I think they paid a full 75% cost of our net trap, of the pig breed. So I didn't mention too much of that in our trapping videos, I don't think. May have mentioned it slightly, but that's a pretty good program. It gives us a lot of incentive to go out and catch a lot more hogs, and we've already taken a lot of hogs out of that thing, and it's a good trap system. It really is. I don't push something. Talk to them about maybe sponsorship or something to help us out. They weren't interested at all. So I'm not here. I assure you, I'm not here to sell traps for them, because I'm getting nothing from them. That said, I'm always one to tell people when something works, and that trap system does work. There's plenty of testimonials out there. If you got the money to invest for your property, or a group of people wants to get something that they can move easy, change locations. It's the corral traps have their benefits too. If you got 40 acres and you're never gonna move your trap, I'd probably go, and you got good phone signal, I'd probably go with drop gate. But if you got a big lease and you don't ever know where the hogs are going to be, and you want to move locations to catch them, or move properties, if you're a commercial trapper or something. And that's something Louisiana is way behind on, guys, as far as I don't know. I don't even know how to say it, man. We're so far behind on the hog battle, and let's say Louisiana, it ain't even funny.
Night, Ralph.
Do what?
UK. He says, so good night to all and stay safe.
Oh, it's his bedtime over there.
Yeah, it's late.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Dale said, fresh sausage sounds good. Yep. I
It
need to
is.
go lay out a package so we can put it on a grill tonight.
Ooh, I gotta stretch my back, y'all. Sorry. I'm stretching my back. It's killing me.
Glenn said if we see a hog when we deer hunt, it becomes hog hunt quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't
and
pass
I
on
have
hogs.
proven this that it will not mess up your hunt if you take that hog out. If you take that hog out, just stay in your stand.
Yeah, I'll give you some
grandma.
advice, or Danielle's giving y'all some advice. If y'all are in your deer stand hunting and you see a hog, okay, what do? Do you let it walk? We get people, look, we got people in our lease every year. I ain't shooting a hog, it's gonna mess my deer hunt up. I gonna tell y'all now that's an idiotic thing to say. That's just a dumb thing to say. Because that one hog, is not only gonna mess your deer hunt up, it's gonna have about 12 babies in the next 3 months. Then it's gonna have about 12 more a few months after that, and in a year's time it's gonna have about 40 hogs. Alright? It's gonna repopulate out of probably 30 out of one hog in a year's time. Now, instead of, because you passed on that hog, you ain't got one hog to mess your deer hunt up. You got 40 that's gonna mess it up. Look, just be smart. If you see a hog, that's all I'm saying. Alright? Can't talk too much on the lives about all that
Put it to sleep.
good stuff.
Put it to sleep.
But for me, it's dirt now. Look, there's another hole down there I didn't even see.
And go about your hunt. I promise you the deer are still going to move.
Dirt nap. That's all I'm saying. Dirt nap. Deer hunters in this state,
Glenn
Rusty.
said we took out a bunch of hogs and the deer were there within 10 minutes. Completely agree. Deer hunters in this state would have a fit to hunt hunt the hog population. They even catch them and move them. See,
that's Texas, right, Rusty? That's Texas.
But that's illegal in our area to do that. You can't catch them and move them to a different location, correct?
Chit chat. That's what I'm talking about. Arkansas. Oh, you're saying they're going to do the same program on gill nets for Asian carp? See, there we're talking. Now we're talking. See, you see a problem with, AGFC. That's great. You know, now you're going to commercialize a resource.
Arkansas?
Yeah, now you're going to commercialize a resource. You're going to let the commercial fishermen go make a living. You're going to regulate your gill net size to a size that most of the catfish can swim right through. Most of your crappie, bass, all that stuff's going to swim right through. And if they do catch them, they got to turn them back. You can't keep them right. But they're recognizing that the carp are such a problem that these people, that they've been throwing regulations on for years, okay? Arkansas has done this. They've thrown regulations on the commercial fishermen for decades. Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about a different subject. They've been throwing regulations on those guys. Now they want those guys to come help them out. See what I'm saying? Look, I'm telling y'all, there's some people Daddy always told me, he said, you know what? He said, I'm going to tell you two things, son. He said, here's the advice I'm going to give you. He said, don't ever mess with an old man. Don't ever mess with a crippled man. He said, that man ain't going to hurt you. He's going to do something else. He said, do not ever mess with an old man or a crippled man. And I kind of look at them commercial fishermen that way, like, in a sense of they might not do you physically harm. That guy can do you more damage than anybody on the water. Or he can be your best friend and help you out. So if you talk to him, you sit him down at the table and say, hey, look, how can we work this out? He's got the ideas. That's the guy I would be talking to fix these kind of problems like the Asian carp and things like that. Because, you know, in the end of the day, there's markets for those fish. They can take that Asian carp and make bait and stuff out of it, right? Dog food. There's tons of market for that type of fish. They're edible. I hadn't eaten one yet. Been asked would we do one on the channel. Sure we are, as soon as we catch one.
I want to.
Danielle wants to try it anyway, so we're going to do that. But yeah, that's how you handle that. You know, there's ways around regulating things in the state to where you let the people take care of it. If you incentivize hog trapping, how do you incentivize? Let's just say I'm gonna tell y'all right now how to fix the hog problem. So I gotta get this net fixed. So I gotta get this done. But I'm gonna tell y'all how to fix the hog problem. This is what I would do if I was
Make it quick.
employed. Why am I making it quick?
Because I want to get on with questions.
Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all what I would do. This is my suggestion to any state that has a hog problem. Texas already kindly has showed us the roadmap for this, right? They have like something that they kind of do, sort of. There's people starving to death in the state of Louisiana right now. Most of them are people that just refuse to work. So I'd rather them go and work. But that said, there's people that starving to death that can't really help themselves. So I'm not against feeding the poor or the needy, whatever you want to call it. If I wanted to solve the hog problem, I'm going to incentivize the trapping of hogs. And how would I do that? I'm going to commercialize them. I'm going to legalize the very thing that we outlawed that we thought was hurting us, and it was what was hurting us. Transporting hogs was hurting us in the state of Louisiana. It was spreading them, right? So, easy fix. We just jump in there. We'll show them, all them dirty old dog hunting hog hunters. We're going to show them. We're going to outlaw transporting hogs, and then problem solved. Well, guess what? It didn't solve the problem. Okay? So, what did we do? We didn't do nothing. Some of them still do it, probably. The hardcore ones, you probably didn't even stop them because they're doing it behind your back, right? All right, so how do we fix it? We go back and we reverse that. We legalize the harvest of hogs and transport of hogs. You say, well, you crazy joker, why would you do that? Well, I want to commercialize those hogs. When I was a kid, I used to go to the sale barn with Daddy, right? Now we don't even have a sale barn in West Monroe anymore. But at the sale barn, every Saturday morning, there was wild hogs. Used to, they could transport them, and there was people at the sale barn that would buy those hogs. Well, I would definitely regulate it. It has to be regulated, right? If we catch you transporting and reintroducing or turning loose hogs, you're going to be fined with some penalties that you're not going to like. It's going to cost you a lot of money, okay? So put that regulation on there, but allow the transport for market. Allow those hogs to be transported to the sale barns or to a market. Allow the USDA to come in and approve a system that you take those hogs, you worm them, you feed them out. They can be reintroduced into the market, or they can be processed into what is called wild hog sausage. You know how many people would buy wild hog sausage from the grocery store just because it says wild hog? Yeah, the state and the people of the state would thank me for that idea because it would work. It's a common sense approach that would work. Whereas we got governors and lawmakers and commissioners and hunting groups, that we got special interest groups that can't figure this thing out, and all they had to do is come talk to Bradley. Danielle's laughing at me, but it's the truth. It is. Yeah. You might have to go get me another one then, girl.
You're gonna wait until after the questions, and we're gonna kind of speed through them.
But that's what I would do.
Okay, Bradley, take that girl hog hunting. Me. Okay. Let's see.
Carp, yes, fertilize for the carp make really good fertilizer, they say.
Yes, I saw that one. I'm trying to go back though. Deer hunters in this state would have a fit. I already read that one.
Deer hunters in this state would have a fit for what?
We already read that was Rusty, and we already talked about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Went to that one. Joe said, good point about the 40. I think he's talking something about previously that you had done went into 500 different soapboxes and talked about something.
I done talked about, look, this is a long live. Y'all gonna hear me talk about a lot of stuff.
I don't remember what you talked about on the 40. So please refresh my memory, Joe. I know you and Amy are listening. Y'all probably are laughing at me, but I can't remember everything he talks about. Glenn says I raise hogs and they have 2 litters a year and weaned. Wild hogs can have 3 to 4 litters a year. And I mean, when you say litters, that's not just like 2 hogs. Sometimes they have like 10 of them little rodents, 12 of them, little bitty things, and they'll pop through them pins if we catch them. Oh, y'all. I dropped the gate. Let me tell y'all what happened. I'm over here on the side.
Danielle for governor.
I'm over here on the side, so y'all just have to listen to me. Bradley and I were texting back and forth. We were both at work, and I was like, oh my gosh, the hogs are in the trap. And something was going on his end. He could not see it, or something was going on. And he told me to drop it. I dropped that thing, and next picture that comes through, you can see them little bitty hogs jumping through the gate. We get down there is only the mama left. So the rest of them, like 12 little piglets, done got through the gate.
We had to let them grow up to catch them.
They were little bitty things. And you would have thought they would have stayed right there with her in that vicinity. No. They didn't. Arkansas commercial fishermen are now selling carp ribs, and people like them better than buffalo, from what my buddy who commercial fishes says. That's what Glenn said.
I don't know yet. I hadn't tried them. We're going to try one as soon as we catch one. I may have to go bow fishing or something to get one. Hadn't seen a lot of them, Glenn, in our area, to be honest about it. We caught one this year in a hoop net. Last year I caught a couple, but the one we caught was all scuffed up and kind of had some bad places on him, and I just was like, I wasn't. You're not supposed to release them alive. You're supposed to take them out. So we just made.
Is that just in our states?
That's everywhere, I think.
Everywhere?
Pretty much. They're invasive species, so you wouldn't want to release them anyways. But we just made sure that it wasn't going to reproduce, and I didn't carry it to the house, and I didn't try to cook it. Okay, let's just say that. I don't know. Maybe we ever go full-time YouTube. Who knows? Maybe we'll run for governor. Y'all think it'd be a good idea or a bad
No, because
idea?
Rusty, I was just going to say that. No way he could be a politician. He don't have a criminal mind. No, we don't. We're not. No.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rusty, that's kind of what we need. We need some of those people that don't have a criminal mind need to be running the country. You know, and I think that's the.
But almost.
You know, I'm not here. I'm not here to
our-
say that. I'm not here to say that Trump's done everything right or that he's this guy's a just guy. I'm not. Look,
Our fertilizer.
I'm sure he's done some stuff. You know, that probably shouldn't have done over the years. We know that. None of us are perfect. That said, I'm not sure, you know, most of these other people, other options that we've had, have such extensive criminal records that it's a no contest when you go to the election to vote. Like, I don't know how people can go to church, or for that matter not go to church and call themselves Christians or biblical followers and vote for some of these people that they're voting for that support killing, you know, or support things that they shouldn't be supporting. I'm not even going to get into war. I don't want to get on another soapbox. But
Are you sure?
yeah, I think.
Okay, so Joe let me know
show him
that
this real
he's
quick.
saying that letting one hog walks turns into 40 hogs later. Absolutely.
Yeah, the hogs got to go. We got I just found down here next, this is the tail bag, this thicker mesh. Y'all can see that. We just got a whole nother big hole down here that I found I didn't even know I had. So this is an ongoing deal. But y'all look at here. I'll show y'all what I have got done. While y'all think I ain't doing nothing, while I'm just talking, that's all I'm doing, running my trap over here. Y'all look at that. Back to new.
Well, that's what Tim said. Tim said
Looks like the
You're
original.
doing a great job on
Looks
your
like
net, Bradley.
looks like the original mat. Thank you, Tim. Looks like the original net there. And I'm trying to look at it. And one thing I don't want to do is rush and miss a hole because I don't want to get down there. And once I dip this, you know, this knots is going to lock in place, and I want it to stay there. So what I'm doing right now, just looking back over it, double check everything, make sure I don't miss nothing, and you know, it's an ongoing process. Anything like this, making a net or something.
Okay, so
Okay, what?
getting back to our comments.
Gotta try to, and I'm still got to turn it a little
Tim
bit.
even said the government wouldn't allow Bradley. Nope, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't
Because-
like me, I can promise y'all that for sure. They wouldn't like me.
Speaking
And
the
I'm gonna
truth
tell
is
y'all,
not what some people like.
I'm gonna be honest. I guess I'm gonna have to drink out this water bottle because dang, you ain't gonna go get me another glass
you
of
need the
ice.
water?
I need ice.
Well, I
Since
did
I
knock
dropped
your
it.
water
I
over.
know you didn't, but I'm trying
Come
to.
on, Oakley. Let's get him another thing of ice that he can tip
I got a water right here.
it.
Yeah. So now we're back on the net a second, guys. And I know this is small mesh, and I know y'all can't really see this that well. Maybe I'll give y'all a close up just a second. Y'all can see the new mesh in there where I sewed it, and if you see like where I'm stretching it, you kind of can see like right there. I'm sewing that back so it's like original mesh. Can y'all see that? Y'all let me know. Can y'all see that? Okay. It's kind of tough because it's so small. This is really small stuff. I mean, you're trying to keep a shrimp. It's trying to not let a shrimp get out, you know, here. But basically, you're sewing it back in the original, like the original mesh was. So that's a little bit. Thank you.
Hmm?
She helps a lot, y'all.
I tried.
And if y'all just now joining us on the
Welcome to
live,
the different soapboxes.
yeah, I guess it's
Soapbox thing.
soapboxes. I would say it's not really about politics. We're not talking about politics. I don't like to
I don't like
really discuss politics, but we know that's part of the messes that our wildlife and our fish. I'm not saying wildlife and fisheries, but that's part of the messes that our wildlife
Kid
and
said,
fish gets.
Just got back. Have you fixed any holes yet?
Yes, I'm all over it, Ken.
No, he's still working on that same one.
No, look, Ken, I got the hole. I got this much.
There's still that big old hole right
Yeah, I've got the big hole, but I've worked my way across about half of it. Look, the big hole is not near as big. I can only fit my head in it now. So it's an ongoing process. It's not this ain't gonna happen like these things don't happen fast. All right, you guys.
The only thing Bradley does pertaining to politics is that he uses his right to vote, and then he uses his right to vote and speaks.
Well, it's easy.
truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
As for running for a political, as of right now, that is not a God-led thing, and
I mean,
no, we are not doing that.
only way I would ever run for any political office is if I thought it was at a level that I could make a difference. And I guess that's where maybe
And it was God leading you into
maybe
that.
some politicians are there. You know, I'm not saying that none of them are, because I'm sure I'm not gonna sit here and talk about all those guys, but
Because I'm working.
for the most part, a lot of them take their positions or go into it because there's money involved, right? It's what they want to do for a living. I'm not sure a lot of them go into it for the right reason. And if I did something like it, I would have to think that I'm going for the right reason and that I can make a difference. So I if I went into politics, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I probably wouldn't want to be like a state representative or something. I mean, I don't. I think to fix it, you had to go all the way to the top. Like I probably won't be the top dog. I probably want to be like a governor or something, you know. 'Cause I just not sure you can push enough stuff through at some of these levels to really make a difference. I think a lot of those people want to sit on those um, committees and memberships and boards just so they feel like they got a voice or something when they really don't. They still got, you know, I don't know. Maybe
Are
they
you
just don't feel
aware of what
important.
that happens in Israel today?
Yes, I am
Yes,
aware.
and we support Israel.
I am aware of what happened.
Yeah. That's a
You know, I don't know.
Christian thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in the States. Y'all aware of what happened in the United States this week, last week? You know, and there's a lot of topics we could talk about while we working on a shrimp net.
Have you used pork liver for catfish bait?
Pork
Cheddar
liver,
cats eat it.
I have not used.
That's from Dale. That would be.
I've used pork liver for crawfish bait, and it does
Yeah.
work for that. It's not great, but it does work. You'll catch some crawfish. I have not. I've used deer liver and chicken liver for catfish bait, and both will work in the right situation at the right time. I have not tried pork liver, so I have no clue. Glenn would probably be the one to answer that question if he's still on or if he
He's
gets
still
back on.
listening. He chimed in just a minute ago.
If y'all want any advice on pole fishing for catfish, I'm gonna just go and tell y'all now. Which honestly, bait's bait, right? You can put on a trot line or whatever, and yeah, I can tell you some. I've caught them on chicken hearts.
Says it
Cut
stays on the
bait.
hook way better. And Glenn just talked. He said, I have a friend that was an AGFC commissioner, and he didn't stay very long because it was too political and too many special interests involved.
That's exactly.
Exactly.
Glenn just backed up what I said. Hey y'all, we was talking like almost around the rim of politics. Had 50-something people on here, and now we got 34 because I'm back tying the net again. What do y'all want? What do y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to talk or y'all want me to fix this
support
net?
Israel.
But yeah, and Glenn just kind of reaffirmed like what I'm saying about, you know, these departments and the involvement from special interest groups and stuff, and it's sickening to me that, you know, we have to that we can't fix our states and our regulations and our and help our, you know, preserve our wildlife and stuff like it in the true name of conservation. Instead, they hide behind the name of conservation, and it's either monetary or politically motivated. Can't stand that. You know, if those guys are doing that for those reasons, they're trash. I'm just gonna go and tell it like it is. Got nothing for any of that type involvement. Nothing at all. Yeah,
Okay, so how long do you let your hoop nets sit before checking them? It depends on the season, the time of year.
yeah, on the hoop nets, you know, if it's winter time, for the most part, we can go 7 days on hoop nets or slat traps or wire nets. 7 days, no problem. I always say it like this: if you're going to run any kind of nets, the best policy that you can have is to go check on it 3 or 4 days the first go, and those fish will let you know, hey, you can let us stay a little bit longer, or they're going to tell you, hey, good thing you come and got us now because we'd have been dead in a few days. So if you pay attention to the fish, you know how much scarring they've got on them, what kind of shape they in, if the edges of their fins go to turning white, anything like that, they're not going to make it much longer. So if the fish look really good after 7 days, they'll probably made it 8 or 9. I don't go 8 or 9, never, unless it's just we can't get to the nets. Our policy is 7 days max, and then we're going to run our nets, after 7 days. That's just the way we roll, and that's the best thing anybody could do, to be honest about it.
Oh, Ken.
What's he saying now?
I can't agree with him more.
This wind is...
Okay, we have talked about a ton of stuff. A lot of things get fixed, but that ain't getting fixed is that net.
Ken, I'm working. I'm literally trying. The wind is blowing so hard right now. I can't use this light. I'm gonna have to go get a torch.
Well, I'm fixing to go do my exercises. I gotta go do my walking.
Yeah, I gotta exercise today too.
Y'all, I have been doing 2 to 3 miles a day for the last month, and I've got to go do mine in just a minute. So y'all start seeing me walk past. I no longer walk on our highway or our road because too many crazy drivers. So I walk our driveway, and if I walk 5 laps, that's a mile.
Oh, y'all good, Ken.
So
I gotta
try to
have.
walk 3
If
miles.
Danielle's not here, I gotta have somebody to keep pushing me to get stuff done. So it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. I'm just trying to make sure that I get this net. Something ain't, like I'm missing some twine here or something. Something's just not
Carl
right.
said, gotta go for now. Always enjoy your videos. Best to all. Yep, y'all just bring up a subject. He'll start talking about it.
Oh, it's easy to get me started.
Whatever you want to talk about.
It's not easy to stop me once I'm started.
Me, I just to tell you my beliefs and I go about my business. I promise you, I don't think twice about it. Can you show a knot that you were using on it?
A knot that
You're using right there. Yeah. I guess you got to move the camera, the phone closer.
Yeah. Give me just a second. Let me figure. I'm still trying to figure out right now. I got some webbing missing here that I must have.
It got ripped off.
Well, it got ripped off or cut out, but I'm trying to get my pattern right here, and I'm not sure if I've got like 2 pieces missing out of it or 3, or like I got a lot missing here. I run into a little difficulty right here where I'm at now. Probably.
Deputy Dan said it's been a great again, like always. Great evening again, like always. Time for supper. Since Danielle didn't send us an invite for supper, we're gone. Y'all could have came over for supper. I got about 4 other people coming over. That's why Bradley needs to do what he's got to do.
So right here, I'm pretty sure I've got some webbing missing because it just don't look like all of this matches up. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start right in here where this one is dropped down some.
This is your old net.
I'm gonna continue. Huh? Yeah, this is the old one.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Ken asked that. Is this your new net?
No, this is not the new one we just bought. I hadn't put the new one I bought in the water yet. It's still rolled up. I am gonna show some how we I don't know, it might be like a tomorrow live or something. I'm gonna probably show on that new one when I get started on it, like how we're gonna set it up. Probably gonna set it up even on some different shrimp net doors where if something happens to this one, like catastrophic, we have to change nets, we can just run to the truck or whatever and pull that one out and use it without having to swap doors. And
Okay, Steven said, Bradley, most viewers are following the conversation. Most of us will never have an opportunity to use that type net, but our conversation affects us all. Absolutely. But our views are just our personal either convictions or our beliefs.
Yeah, I don't mean everybody else can't have a different opinion than I got on stuff. We don't hold nothing.
No.
We all got opinions. That's like the deal with the tournament guys and stuff like that. Like
Just how big was that hole?
I'm the one person that's not against anybody.
He just burned himself. Y'all see him jump?
Well, I didn't mean to. The wind is killing me right now. On
Now
my,
it's using an excuse. How big was that hole? That is coming from Chit Chat.
Chit Chat.
Yep. And Ken said Chit Chat, it was 3 hours big.
It's actually about an hour and a half big Ken, but when you go to talking, other things like
he's killing me.
I've lost more viewers today than I've gained. We probably got unsubscribers from this live today, y'all.
Well, see, I got off at 2 and you were live before I got off.
30-something still watching.
4.
So y'all can let me know, and I imagine people going out to eat tonight and everything else, but y'all can let me know. Hey, I don't know how these lives work. I'm being honest with y'all. We still kind of playing with the live thing. If y'all'd rather me just sew the net up and get off of the live, I could always do that.
Rusty said, headed for the lake, great live. Steven said, I bet the majority feel the same way you feel, or they wouldn't follow. Have you ever smoked a whole catfish belly? Barbecue flathead sounds pretty good.
I have not smoked a catfish. Have not. That's one thing we have not. I mean, we grill it now. We grill it. Hadn't done like what I would call a barbecued catfish. I thought about barbecuing some whole fryers. I've been thinking about doing that. Hadn't done it yet, but I've been thinking about it.
Chit Chat said, whoa, laughing out loud.
Whoa to what?
How long that hole is 3 hours long.
So y'all check this out. I'm gonna try to give y'all a close up, alright? Maybe this, I don't know. Let's see if we lose viewers or gain viewers when I really focus on the net.
Ken said, you're still the best YouTube brother. I'll always watch you. Laughing out loud.
Let's see. I don't want to zoom in so much what y'all can't see what I'm doing.
I'm watching.
Let's see. Maybe right
Andre's
there.
in the house. He
about
said, I'm in here. Great live. Thank you, Andre.
Maybe I give y'all, maybe that's,
Yep, that's
did I go
good.
down too low?
No, that's good.
About right there?
Just hold
Alright,
up.
so
I'm a little bit
I'm
behind.
gonna go back out of this, so I'm not tying this. Alright, so lesson of the day.
Steven said, Danielle, I gotta stir the pot. But did Bradley remember the anniversary? Yes, he did. That's another
Yes.
video coming out in a couple of weeks.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
Oh,
not. Y'all, because of our probation, I think the anniversary video, we'll call it the anniversary video from now. I'm not going to tell y'all what it's about. We think that could be a really good video that could perform well on YouTube. I'm sorry to say that our numbers are so bad right now on our new impressions, which is the new viewers, our reach on YouTube, other than our regulars, that because of us being on probation with YouTube, I made a decision to wait until the middle. I think we're supposed to be off.
the middle, it's going to be
middle of
like
July.
July 16th or
Yeah,
something
July
like that.
16th, 17th, something like that. We'll be off of probation. So I'm gonna. I mean, look, none of our videos are gonna be bad, but we have a backlog on videos for a week or two. You know, we're like 2 or 3 weeks ahead. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna save what we think is our best footage, and I think that is one of our best videos. I hope.
It's
I think
what we do
I think
each
it's got
year.
potential.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. It was
but
fun.
we totally redesigned the video from. It's not just about brim fishing. It's a totally different style of video. We think it could do good. It may flunk out. We don't know. But I don't want to take a chance and drop that video that has potential before we get off of probation, because we already know we're getting 25 to 40% less impressions on the channel on new viewers than what we normally do. We're able to look at all of our numbers, and I can calculate all that out, and I know that. So that said, probably going to be a month late on the anniversary video getting out. That said, you're going to have some real good content. You got a shrimping video, should come out on about, I've still got to do some editing on it, but that should be Sunday's video, Sunday morning.
And he
don't-
said, give us a hint about the anniversary video. I will give the hint. We do this each year. We've done it for the last 4 years.
I mean, I can tell
it's
y'all.
a kayak
Y'all be
videos.
ready for it. It's going to be
But
bring them fishing, kayaking, you know, on
I
a creek.
absolutely love it.
It's gonna be remote. It's gonna be there's gonna be some off-grid camping involved in it, and cooking on the creek bank. Gonna be a lot of that, and it's gonna be a little hunt for some history.
Dangerous weather.
It's gonna be some dangerous weather involved, and it's gonna be some history involved.
Yeah.
History dating back thousands of years. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and
it's something I love.
it's interesting. It's something we ain't never part of it. We ain't never put in any of our videos. So it's gonna be some history, a little bit of history for Danielle that she learned, and just something that I grew up in and around, and all of us what we do. But it's a decent video. We don't know how good, but we don't want to drop our best content until a month from now. Bottom line. Yeah, I'm not in the doghouse, Steven. So I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Danielle left me. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. So what I'm doing right here, I'm tying some new mesh. Y'all can see right here and right here. These are new meshes, right? So I'm going all the way across because this mesh was just missing. This was my last factory one. So 1, 2, 3. I've tied 3 meshes, and I've got to go all the way across to right here to have this set of mesh back in that I've cut out of this torn net. Measures like it's a gauge, right? That measures 3/4 of an inch or whatever size mesh it is. What I found on this shrimp net is if I just stick my fingers in there like that, it ends up being about the right size. And y'all can see if you squared that, that's gonna be like a 1.5, 3/4 mesh deal there. It'd be about right. So all I'm doing here is same way that we tie any net. I take my needle, I've got my thread attached right here to my tie point. I'm hoping y'all can see it. It's green, so I know it's hard for y'all to see. But I'm gonna go under this mesh right here, underneath it, around the back side of it, and through it, until I've got a loop right there, right? So let me try to get a better camera angle. Maybe I can get y'all a better camera. I know when I pull that net tight, y'all ain't seeing what I'm doing here. So y'all can see right here, I've got a loop, and I put, like when I'm sewing this shrimp net, I just put a finger in this last loop and a finger in this loop, and I just make them about the same size, right? So now I pinch, I make that loop about the size I want it. I pinch. I don't know, can you see this in the video, Danielle?
Yes, I can see it.
Good enough that you can tell what I'm doing?
Steven said, brother, you did good, kept you out
So
of the doghouse.
I'm making that loop the same size as the last one. I've already done that. I've pinched where that runs through there. Now I go over like that, underneath the 2 parts of that upper mesh, over like that, underneath,
Mr. Bill's back.
and back through like that. So it ties like a kind of like a hitch, right? And I show how to tie this knot in a short in our video list. It's way back in the shorts. I'll probably have to redo that one again for some people, because
Actually, whatever you're doing right now looks really good on the video.
those shorts could be hard to find. So then that's just like basically a hitch that I've just tied, right? And I can pull that really tight. Now that knot would not hold normally, but once I put the tar on it, like as long as I keep tension on it this way, pull down like this, it's gonna hold. If I go to pulling sideways like this, those knots could come apart. So the tension on the net is this way, not this way. So that's one thing. Second thing, and this would hold in a pinch if we were down there shrimping, I could do this. That said, if I go and dip this with that tar or with plastic shrimp net dip, either one, this net would then hold that a lot better, okay? So I've got, y'all can see right here, I've got one more missing, right? And then I'll match up to down here, and we can start over again on another row. So I'm just replacing a row that's missing, like that right there. Y'all can see the loops in there. All I'm doing right there is replacing one row. that we actually had to cut out that was all torn and jagged up. So I'm doing the same thing right here. Coming, and I guess it took me 3 hours to get into this live to show y'all actually what I'm really supposed to be doing in this live. But I think the whole live thing for us is
So we could shoot the bull.
just shooting a bull, talk, fellowship. I think that's what
Yeah.
everybody likes
Something we
about the
love.
lives.
But I gotta go walking.
Some people like to
Okay.
walk, cleaning fish and stuff, and that's great.
Let me real quick go over the last couple of texts, then I gotta walk in real quick so before they get here. Chit Chat says video sounds cool. Mr. Bill's back in the house. I'm back, Valley. Plumbing is one of the least favorite things to do. That being said, I got the kitchen faucet and supply lines replaced and the shut-off valves replaced. The best part of is no leaks. Woo, hallelujah. That reminds me I was supposed to pay the water bill. So do you just tie a regular knot and leave the tail to make a loop?
No,
Yes,
what I'm doing, yeah, a regular knot and a tail them you could do, but what I'm actually doing here is burning. I'm having trouble with I normally keep a cigarette lighter, but I'm having trouble with it staying lit. So I'm just
You gotta
using
get wind.
using a torch right now. Is another way to just kind of burn that tag end down. But the thing is, like most net builders will advise not to burn or anything. They just leave the tail end hanging and dip it, and because it's frayed, once you dip it, that knot will never come undone. That's what most net builders do, okay? So, and that's not the wrong way to do it neither. They're doing it the right way. That said, yeah.
Ken said, how long did, very cool. How long did you have to practice that? And did somebody show you how to tie, like a net, I guess? Which, I mean, you've been doing nets forever.
Yeah, I've been doing nets for a long time.
Your daddy.
I started, all right, maybe that was enough of me actually, I don't know. Did I
Let it
zoom
give
in?
it time and it'll show up on my iPad.
Okay, so I think I built my first hoop net. Built. Okay, tied every knot in the net.
Yeah, you're good.
I think I built my first hoop net. I think I was 13 years old. So I tied every net in that, or every knot in that net. I think I was 13 when I built my first hoop net. I still have those hoops today. I think we replaced the netting in it, but I still have those hoops and fish those. Those are fiberglass hoops. That's how long fiberglass hoops work. So you're talking, I don't know, I had 30 years, 30 something years ago that I built my first hoop net. Yeah, that was a long time ago. So what I miss?
Oh my goodness. Let me go through the comments real quick. Because like I said, I got to go do my workout. I love the lives. That's what Ken said. I absolutely love the lives. Steven said, no wonder it's taken a long time. That's a lot of work. Chit Chat said, would a mesh board or a card help? Anyway. Kind of like you do with your hoop nets.
No. In this, I think what I've seen I think I've seen some people online with shrimp net using like a dowel, like a wooden dowel. That I don't know what size it would be, but a wooden dowel would be would fit in here. Yeah, I could use a little board or something. I'm not building no board to do a few mesh in a shrimp net. I'm not building shrimp nets. If I was building them, I wouldn't need one at all, because see, I'd just be making seams up, right? I'd be
working on the same hole.
I'd be cutting. No, this one's hard to figure out. Like, that's the reason I'm not done with this one, is because it's daggum pain in my rear right now.
Well, D. Grass said, if you want that net finished, let your wife get on it. it will be dark before you get the little hole fixed. See ya, Texas. That's what I was laughing about.
It might be dark before I fix it. Y'all don't understand. Look how big this hole was. This ain't no little patch
Well,
job.
that
And
had
look,
an oyster net.
if it was cut straight through, it'd be easy, right? Everybody could do it. And, you know, fact of the matter is this one's a time-consuming deal here that ain't an easy process at all. So I've got to figure, like, you know, what's the best way for me to do this? And there ain't no easy answer. I'm just telling y'all, like, straight up, ain't an easy answer. So
y'all get any last minute questions in?
what I can, I will. I'm gonna give y'all a pretty good tip.
Here, but
Hey, you got. Look,
don't tell me. I'm not a dog.
this girl, she gets fired up, y'all. Look, I'm gonna give y'all a pretty good tip right here.
Let me get the end.
If you look at some of our net building videos,
I'm liking this Ken.
are you gonna let me finish
Oh,
this?
no.
Ken is waiting on this information right here.
I'm liking
So
him.
here's a tip I can give y'all. If you have some type of netting, whether it be shrimp netting, it doesn't matter if it's a crab trap, a dip net, a hoop net, a wire net, anything like that, and you want to learn how to patch or how to repair, one piece of advice I can give you is like what I did right here just now. This one on the end, I don't know if y'all can see it very well or not, but it had another piece of webbing that went right here. That is not one that I want to tie on to. So if you can envision a diamond, right? Like a diamond, like whatever a diamond would look like. But this mesh, if you was going to cut out like a whole section and repair it, you want it to be in some, because see the mesh is diamond shaped, right? So if in the middle of the hole you got the side of a diamond, ain't good. You want the diamond to be diagonal in shape the way the net's running. That way when you tie, you're tying every knot in that case then isn't going to tie like on the side and come over. Every knot will be tied with the strength of the net, which is this way. The net's pulling this way. If you tie across the other way, your knots could pull loose. So to help your repairing, you either want to sew webbing coming across that net, or you want to patch in diagonal form. So I'm not sure if that's coming real clear, but if you think about if I was building this net and I'm sewing webbing round and around the net, like in my net building videos that I've got, and if y'all want to go watch those, y'all can if you hadn't seen them. I put to like some pretty good, yeah, no, it's all business. It's all building nets. No talk about the government stuff in those videos. Well, it might be some, but I don't think there's much. But anyways, if you're building a net round and around, if you want to repair that net, you got a hole in it, you either want to build webbing onto it the same way, just like you did when you were building the net, or you want to patch in diagonal shape. If you're pulling those knots in diagonal shape, then everything will be fine. Then y'all got to answer a phone call. Is this going to go off?
Yes. No, you ain't got to answer.
No, I do got it. Patton's Automotive. They got my truck ready. So we gotta go take the
y'all,
truck
we'll
off.
have to say goodbye at the moment.
Look, I may go live again. I probably got to go get my truck out of the shop. But y'all be sure to subscribe, hit the like button.
We'll probably go live again
Probably come back
tonight.
live this evening and finish the net. Okay, guys. Sorry, got a phone call. Truck's in the shop. They either got it fixed or got some bad news. But so you want to tie a vertical knot?
No, he needs to focus on the truck.
Yes, check. That's kind of what I'm saying. If you tie your knots horizontal, then you want to tie them in line the way the strain of the net's going to be is what I'm actually saying. So it doesn't really matter which, if you go horizontal or vertical, as long as the strain's that way. Well, this net is round, and the strain is this way, right? Because the boat is pulling it that way. Your weight of the shrimp is this way. So we want all of our strain pulling this way, right? We don't want it pulling that way. You can see how it don't even look right when that mesh opens up because we're pulling the wrong way. So if you pull it down this way, it pulls tight. So when you're tying your knots, you want your knots, you don't want to go over here and get on one of these diagonal sides like right here and then tie back this way. That you wouldn't tie that away. You would tie from down here up to the next point and then back down like that. So if you have to patch, I couldn't cut this one out in a diamond. I'd have had a huge bunch of webbing to sew back in. It was too much. So that's what's taking me so long, is having to figure out how many loops I got to tie back on to get where I can catch each side of that hole. But as far as if it was a small hole and I want to patch it up, I would cut that out in some type. It don't have to be a perfect diamond now. It could be an elongated diamond, you know, or a rectangle diamond, but it needs to be tapered that way or this way so you can put those mesh in like it's supposed to be. That'd be your strength in your knots is what I'm saying. So anyways, guys, look.
What we could do is, if we go live tonight, we'll try to post it about 30 minutes ahead on the community, kind of give everybody a heads up. We'll go back live. But we do have family coming over tonight to eat supper.
Yeah, we'll figure out something. I've got a lot of work to do on these nets. This one and get the new one ready. Not really wanting to add all that into our videos. So if it's something y'all interested in or y'all just want to chat, I'll probably go live some more. I don't know what time it'll be, but we'll probably be back live. Y'all just keep y'all's little notification.
Make sure you hit that thumbs up.
If you don't know, set the bell. You'll get the notification when we go live, and you should be able to jump back on with us. But y'all go get some business done, because I gotta go do some business, and then we can chit chat later. Or if y'all just sitting around the house not doing nothing, we'll holler back in a bit. But appreciate y'all joining in. Appreciate all the thumbs up. We almost got 100. Y'all hit the
Go
thumbs.
Tigers!
And Dan said, "Go Tigers." Some of us talking about go
Hog.
Razorback. So, yeah. Look, there's 3 more holes down here I didn't even know I had. So we got a lot of holes to patch. Man, there's 2 more holes. Good grief.
Hope y'all enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
We're in bad shape down here, y'all. There's a bunch of holes in this net.
We'll try to get back with y'all tonight. If not, Bradley said tomorrow. We got to check on his truck, see what's going on.
Let me go get my truck. We'll holler back at y'all in a bit.
God's country hunting and fishing.
God's country hunting and fishing. We got more people on here now than any time during the
We'll
live.
be back, y'all.
All right, we'll come back. Y'all
Keeping
hit the
it
thumbs
real.
up before you leave this one, so YouTube lets it get out there to some people.
Roll Tide.
I heard you. Roll Tide. I agree with you, Danny. We'll holler at y'all in a bit.